The views expressed on the previous
Jerk Street. Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the pain is excruciating.
Its staff, advertisers, or agents.
Unacceptable.
The biggest names, the best talent. You're listening to Sports Radio 560.
Yeah, if you don't like the candidates, write in Jerk Street at the polls.
Fort Lauderdale.
That's what Flea's going to do. Now, where did we find out that Gary Sarner is voting for John McCain?
The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil,
Where?
dial 567.
Everybody who hates Gary Sarner is voting for John McCain, okay?
In other counties, call toll-free 877-785-NEIL
with
or
Julie
pound 560 on your AT&T and Verizon wireless phone. The opinions expressed by Neil, his guests, or his callers do not represent those of WQAM management, staff, or sponsors. Now, the Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM.
Get the Hoover out the moon, man. You fairy.
Ross says, united we stand. Looks like he's from Munchkin Land. How did he get ears like that? How did Dumbo get in the race? All he needs is a trunk on his face. How did he get ears like that?
Yeah, roll up your sleeves and do. Dust off those old studies, lift up the hood in the engine, and get in there and do. Step up to the plate. That's what we need is Ross Perot back. Oh, thank God this is all over and people are voting today, and in a few hours it'll be over and Obama will be the president-elect and life will go on. Jesus God. Is it just me or does it feel like this whole thing has gone on for years?
So long.
Oh, God. I mean, hopefully it'll be worth waiting for, but good golly. Just an exhaustive process. Let's take a look at that Outlook Express. There are no items in this view. All right. Sports fans? All right. It's Election Day. Here's one. I mean, there have been a few trickle in this morning, of course. Here's one from Paula, who says, I got in line at 6:30 this morning, was 33rd in line. When they opened the doors at 7 a.m., there were about 75 people in line. My precinct is East Sunrise.
Oi!
And there were lots of elderly already out at that hour of the morning. I finally got in to vote at 8 a.m. It took all of 5 to 6 minutes. Some suggestions to help the voting. Go back to computers. The amount of paper that's wasted with these ballots is killing lots of trees. It would have been so easy to adapt a printer to the prior electronic voting machines, but our representatives would rather spend money we don't have. Ballots in English only. Speak it Inglés. If you can't read English, you shouldn't be voting. No speaky English. Paula, no speaky English. Make the voting hours between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. for people who have to get to work. Make it a requirement that high school seniors work the polls for their community service hours, but also to expose them to the civic duty that everybody needs to do. Do your civic duty. I did my duty this morning. Aren't you proud of me?
Yes, very much so.
Heavy duty. The system isn't perfect, but it's all we got, says Paula. But we do need to allow more parties to be involved because the ones we've got now are sure screwing things up. Go, Obama, go. Early birthday wishes, Neil, says Paula. Thanks, Paula. Paula cared enough to send her very best. About 200 absentee ballots have been disqualified in Lee County. County election officials said in some cases the ballots did not have a signature. In others, the signature didn't match the one on file, or they were signed by people with power of attorney, which is not allowed for voting. Lee County Election Supervisor Sharon Harrington said a voter whose absentee ballot was disqualified will receive a notice, but there's nothing can be done for it for this election because once a ballot is dropped in the box, there's no way to get it back and make changes. What's in the box? The 200 disqualified ballots were among 58,000 ballots that had arrived at the Southwest Florida County by as of last Wednesday. Another 18,000 absentee ballots have come in since then. Well, Lee County, that's good.
Yeah, that's Fort Myers.
Votes, that's right. The fewer votes that count over there, the better it is. Disqualify all of them over there. Naples, Fort Myers. That's where the Beasleys are. We got Flea and, what's his name, Fatso Chris today. Because George is on vacation. Maybe George is putting some illegal documents together and sneaking in a vote or two or three. You think so?
No.
No.
Hopefully.
He's not. Obama's ahead in the vote count. New Hampshire town picks the first Democrat in 40 years. Every 4 years, voters in the small town of Dixville Notch, New Hampshire, gather at midnight to cast their presidential ballots. Democratic candidate Barack Obama defeated John McCain 15-6 among the town's voters. Oh! Obama's the first Democrat to win the small town's vote in 40 years. The town's been the first to vote in every presidential election since 1948, and every one of its voters cast a ballot. Bush won a majority of the town's vote in 2004 and 2000. Dixville Notch has not backed a Democratic candidate since 1968 when its residents chose Hubert Humphrey over Richard Nixon, over Tricky Dick. And not only did he win Dixville Notch by a whopping margin of 15-6, but Obama scooped Hart's Location. That's the other little town that votes early. Hart's Location, New Hampshire, 17-10 with 2 write-in votes for Ron Paul. Exciting stuff, you bet. So let's see, 17-10 and 15-6, 32-16. That's double. So far, Obama's double the numbers for insane old McCain. Now, if we're going to have another death knell on the email, we might have to take a lot of calls today in spite of... No, there's nothing in there.
In spite of what?
In spite of Flea's protestations about phone calls.
Okay, because he disappeared for that second.
Oh, here's one from the desk of John So-and-so. Dear friend, confident... It's another one of those spam things, you know, about you've won $80 trillion and... Wow. This is scary. Here's one from Alfredo. Happy birthday, Neil. May you have another 66 productive years. Oh, sure, because as far as I'm concerned, the world's a lot better with you in it. By the way, I voted for Obama during the early voting period. Go Obama, best from Al. Thanks, Al. Thank you so much. Where did the flea go?
No, I'm right here.
Oh, I thought you went off to kick Gary Sarner in the ass.
That'll be later.
What a schmuck. You know, it's one thing to be a moron, but to go around with a megaphone, you know, blaring it out to everybody, that's even worse. Now, well, what do you think the, of the people in the building who voted, because it has nothing to do with ball games, what do you think the ratio would be in that place?
I'd say it's probably...
Heavy McCain.
Yeah, well... It depends what side of the building you're talking about.
Well, your good buddy, Jolly Joe, by the way, he was a big Bush defender.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, that figures. Losers of a feather suck together. Tricia in Miami says, it saddens me how they're trying to steal the election again, this time in North Carolina and Virginia. North Carolina had early voting and they never had a problem. Now they're having problems in their polling stations. Sir, if they steal this election again, the USA will be the laughingstock of the world again. No one in this country will want to go out and vote anymore when all they do is steal elections. It's really sad, Neil, says Tricia in Miami. Just relax, Tricia. Cool your jets. Obama's ahead 32-16. And Ron Paul's got a couple of votes. You think we're going to have like another dearth? I mean, I would think that people would be letting us know what's going on in if they voted and what the deal is. Outlook Express. Oh, here's one. It's from Yug. Yug. You know Yug?
No. No.
And it's a Tom Jicka column. It's from my good buddy Yug. Yeah, you do. He's an emailer. He's the one.
Oh, that guy.
What?
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Remember that girl with Marlo Thomas? Well, this is that guy. Oh, here's one. I went to a Cooper City Hall at 6:20 this morning to vote. About 60 people or so in front of me. Got in, pretty much got out quick when the polls opened. Actually made it to work by 9 a.m. too. Go Obama. Nice going, Jeff. And all our people who are voting for Obama, by the way, don't forget, if you have some time later in the day, go back and vote again. Oh, also, I don't want to give out any misinformation like the right-wingers have been doing, but if you're an Orthodox Jew, you're not allowed to vote.
Oi!
What? What are you laughing about?
That's just funny.
That was no funny laughing matter, mister. Orthodox Jews, nicht for dear. Neil, I already know that you know about this story since I sent it to you yesterday, but here's Tom Jicka. His take in his widely read, world-famous TV Plus blog, and he even mentions you. Well, that's bald-headed Tommy for you, Tommy Jicka. I'm amazed he's still working there. They're making so many cutbacks. He'll be soon, I'll guarantee you that. That Sun Sentinel is now up to 4 pages. I've never seen anything like it in my life. But Tom Jicka, still there. He says, WQM's FCC nightmare is over. The long nightmare of WQM Radio 560 AM and its parent company Beasley Broadcasting is over. The long nightmare. No, the nightmare will be over when Jolly Joe Bell gets the boot. Beasley's entered into an agreement with the FCC to resolve numerous complaints and license challenges for alleged indecency and other transgressions, some of which go back 5 years. Most of the complaints were filed by one individual, the unmentionable one, the recently disbarred one. That's the one, Tom. There's enough legalese in the agreement to make a layman's head explode. The key bottom line elements are Beasley agreed to conduct a training program and FCC rules for its talent and staff, and to report to the FCC on how it's complying. Beasley's also to make a voluntary contribution to the U.S. Treasury. I swear this is how it's reported, of $85,000. The contribution is so voluntary that it must be made within 10 days, the FCC insists. It's voluntary, but you better do it or else. In exchange, the complaints go away, and the way is cleared for WQM's license to be renewed. There is no mention of whether Neil Rogers can now resume broadcasting flatulent sounds. How do you like that? There's no mention of whether Neil Rogers can now go back to broadcasting flatulent sounds. Those are just raspberries I'm doing. Because we sure as hell don't want to start. I mean, we haven't even got the damn license back, you know. But we are. We're getting our license back here at QAM. Oh. Obama's going to win the election today. Oh. My birthday tomorrow. I live till 66, or at least I think I might. Oh. What's not to like? Am I right?
Correct.
Neil at neilrogers.com. That's the email address for your perspicacious observations about your voting. Look at that. Oh, fake Joey Reynolds says, happy birthday. You're still older than me. Can you play Young Neil for me? Go Obama. No, I can't. They're starting to trickle in, man. You're going to see a phenomenal response today because the people are, and look at that, Al Franken's a couple points out of that jerk Norm Coleman in Minnesota in the Senate race.
Holy cow, Aaron's coming. Well, congratulations. Get a life.
Some people call me blue collar. Some call me a real American. My name is Joe Wurzelbacher. I'm famous because I asked a question. Obama wants to raise my taxes, baby. Wants to spread my money around, Well, that sounds like communism to me. Giving handouts to the poor just strikes me as wrong. I'm not a doctor, I'm Joe the plumber, a hard worker, don't drive a Hummer. Trying to live the American dream. I'm Joe the plumber, what a bummer. Politicians getting dumber. And now I'm leaning toward McCain.
Woo. Yeah, he's really something else. I can't say the word on the air. Even though we got our license, I still can't say that word on the air. Begins with SH, but nevertheless. Oh, and speaking of Joe the plumber, he's had run-ins with John McCain and Sarah Palin the last few days, and also had a run-in with the Toledo police. Can you believe that? An upstanding guy like Joe?
Nope.
Samuel Joseph Wurzelbacher was stopped by 2 Toledo police officers after he was clocked going 50 miles an hour in a 35 zone on Dorr Street in Toledo last week. Officers ran Wurzelbacher's plates, asked for his license. It was then that the officer realized who he had pulled over. A second officer gave Wurzelbacher a verbal warning and released him. He got a free pass. They liked his bald spot. A police report obtained by NBC 24 states that the patrol unit did not issue a citation to Wurzelbacher because it felt doing so would have negative repercussions to the department and city as a whole. How do you like that?
I can't wait to never hear his name again.
This guy doesn't pay his taxes. He's not really a plumber. He's got no license to do anything. He's got an agent. He's working on a recording deal. Just a day before the traffic stop, the Toledo police clerk was charged with gross misconduct after allegedly performing an unlawful search of Wurzelbacher. The Ohio Attorney General's office made an inquiry into why Wurzelbacher was not issued a citation since it was a legitimate traffic violation. Oh, well, we don't want to touch Joe. And, of course, if you've seen him, who the hell would? Now, Rodolfo says, this is good news for Obama. Even in Lee County, there were more Democrats than Republicans who voted. This is the early voting totals for about 11 counties in Florida. You want to hear the totals?
Yeah, of course.
By party. Of course, it doesn't prove who voted for which, but nevertheless. In Broward... Oh, it's just too many numbers here. You're mailing it in, Rogers. You're mailing it in, you old fart. Yeah, that's right. I'm mailing it in, just like I did my vote. Broward, Democrats 161,825, Republicans 35,000 and some odd. No party affiliation 35,000. Dade, 78,180 Republican, 172,000 Democrat, no party affiliation 52,000. Wow. Isn't that shocking to you? In Dade County, Democrats who voted more than double the Republicans.
That is shocking.
The early voting. This is the early voting. Duval County, 57,000 Republicans, 98,000 Democrats, 19,000 no party affiliation. Hillsborough, 38,000 Republicans, 81,000 Democrats, no party affiliation, 21,000. Even in Lee County, 25,000 plus Republicans, 27,000 Democrats, 9,700 no party affiliation, et cetera, and so on. Orange County, up there in Orlando, 33,000 Republicans, 83,000 Democrats, 22,000 no party affiliation. Boy, oh boy. Palm Beach County, 95,000 total, Republicans 16,799, Democrats over 60,000, and no party affiliation 15,000.
How about Pinellas County?
Pinellas County, Republicans 10,943, Democrats 26,000 plus, no party affiliation 7,000. More than 2-to-1 Democrats voted early in Pinellas County. St. Petersburg, where the average age is death plus 20. Oh, you're so mean. You're so nasty, Neil. You're an old fart yourself. Not old enough to live in Pinellas County, though. Why, did you live there?
Yeah, I was born in St. Petersburg.
Oh, my God, that explains that twerpy sound of yours. I bet you he's got herpes, rhymes with twerpy.
No, I'm clean.
Yeah, you're clean, huh? It's not what George told me.
Well.
Let's take a look at that poll. We've left that up there for how many days now? Let's just leave it up today and tomorrow.
Okay.
Then we don't have to worry about it. Well, I mean, it's about what's going on. People are voting today. People are voting. They sure as hell aren't sending us any stuff. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. Good. Thank God. I think this show's on a 20-minute delay.
Also, I got a report from Allison Turner. She just voted, and she said there's about a 2-hour wait where she was.
Wow, good. Everybody get out and vote 100 times, okay, for Obama. If you're voting for McCain, you can't vote. And if you're an Orthodox Jew, you can never vote. Let's just make up a bunch of stuff like they do. You know who they are, the evildoers? They. Oh, if you're Republican, vote Tuesday. If you're Democrat, vote Wednesday. Ah, ha, ha. Yeah, very subtle, very clever, very obnoxious. By hook or by crook. They invented that whole thing, by hook or by crook. And boy, 8 years of absolute pure hell. How anybody could vote for a continuation of this, you must be a lunatic. Must be a crazy person. A masochist. Oh, don't stop. The pain feels so good. Yeah. How important is today's election to you? Life and death, 998. Somewhat important, 409. Don't give a Schmidt, 110. WTF, 67. Not very important, 33 out of over 1,600 votes. 1,619 votes. How do you like that number there, Chris?
Pretty good.
Aren't you impressed? Of course, you've been up there for, a month? But nevertheless, that's the whole audience. We used to have a gigantic audience, and then Joe Bell came to town. He made sure. So, Tommy Jicka, what do you say, Tommy? Tommy's voting for McCain, I'll guarantee you that. You're not fooling us with your right-wing leanings, Tommy. It's just him, it's part of him. I can't say what part.
Rectum.
But nevertheless. Jim in Chicago says, hey, I intended to vote. See, I'm getting spy reports from Chicago. I intend to vote midday here in suburban Chicago. Obama's guaranteed to carry Illinois, so it's the down ballot races I'll be watching up here. I'm really hoping Prop 8 in California, the gay marriage one, fails. Don't forget, vote no on Amendment 2 in Florida, as well as the anti-abortion measures in South Dakota and Colorado. The one in Colorado would say a fertilized egg would be a human being. Oh, how about just an egg in a box, like at the supermarket? You're taking home a bunch of people and you're frying them. An Obama victory, along with Democratic majorities, and the defeat of these initiatives would make for a great victory over the Nazis. Hoping for the best today, your friend in Christ and Tom Brady, Jim in Chicago. Thanks, Jim. There you go. How do you like that? People out of town, they care enough to give us a little bit of info, a little bit of input, a little bit of something.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice. But not the people in Dade and Broward and Palm Beach and around town. No way. See, now that I've blocked the Chronics, there's nobody left on there, basically. Yesterday was weak, and today I think is even going to be weaker. And, of course, Tubby there says, oh, they're all out voting, No, they're not. Of course. No, they're not.
2-3 hours, vote, come on.
What about all the people who voted early? Maybe they're out there voting again.
Again.
My good buddy Ken from Etobicoke, who made it possible for me to vote, by the way. Thank you, Ken. Says, may your birthday bring you as much happiness as you give to everyone who listens to you. Best wishes on your birthday and throughout the coming year. May you live long enough to see the Leafs win the Stanley Cup. Now you're getting really carried away, Ken. Oh, my God. You were doing well till you got to that. Stanley Cup, my ass. But being an old coot, I saw those last four in the 60s.
Williams' shot gets through the pads of Martini. A power play goal, and Toronto's tied it at 1.
Oh, the Marlies. The freaking Toronto Marlies. Who cares about that crap, okay? Get out of here. Bob McGill. All these ex-jocks. Nick Kifrios, all these the guys that weren't even decent players. And now all of a sudden they're all broadcasters. Everybody's a broadcaster like that moron at Jerk Street. God, what an idiot.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Neil, God.
His butt all ripped. Poll numbers have dipped. That's right, Barack. McCain is coming back. When I'm on the campaign trail, I will whip him. At the debate, I'll prevail. I will whip him. I'll smack his liberal tail. I will whip him. I'll whip him. In this race for the White House. That's straight. Talk Express. We'll move ahead to get elected. It's not too late. I'll whip him. Whip his butt.
Oh, that's it? Jesus. I'm just printing out one of our 50,000 emails here. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
One of our half-dozen emails. Hey, listen, at least it's picking up a little bit, At least they're finding something to say. Not too much. They don't want to overdo it.
Anything we can get.
You think what?
Anything we can get.
Lisette says, hi, Neil. I voted this morning in Palm Beach. Had to wait only 30 minutes.
About 30, man.
Early voting really reduced the lines this year, as in 2004. My husband and I had to wait 2.5 hours. Anyway, voted for Obama, of course. I hope he smokes McCain, that idiot Barbie doll. Send Palin back to Alaska with Joe the Plumber. If I never see either of them again, it'll be too soon. Love you and keep up the great show, says Lisette. That's for you, sweetie. Oh, let's move along here. What do we got? Nick from Miramar says, hey, Uncle Neil, I wanted to write and give you a big kiss. Oh. And tell you I voted first thing this morning. My polling place is the East Sunrise Police Station. I arrived at 6:30 to find a line of about 100 people. Didn't see any delays or problems, and it took about an hour and a half. And the people waiting in line were mostly black. Huh. As I type this, I'm listening to you read the early voting results from all those redneck counties. Hooray. Well, they aren't voting results. They're just tell you who voted according to their party registration, that's all. Doesn't tell you who they voted for. I'm starting to feel pretty optimistic about our boy winning it all, says Nick. Thanks for all the info and education. Do South Florida a favor. Never die or retire. Love you, T. O'Neill. Nick from Miramar. Well, thanks, Nick. Hey, Nick.
You fairy.
John in Ireland says, happy birthday and enjoy your day tomorrow. Democrats abroad are having an election party tonight in Dublin. Will also toast your birthday. Best regards and look forward to another 66 years of your show, says John in Ireland. See, in Chicago they care about this show. In Ireland they care about it. But in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, it's like that, you know? Screw you, you old fart. Am I right?
Yep.
Well, boy, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. Boy, too bad it's not election day here. They already had that a couple of weeks ago. And they put that Nazi back in again, Stephen Harper, that fascist, that pig. 13 already. It's going to be 20 today, 68. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. Take that, Castronova. Put that in your ass and smoke it. The best thing about Obama is the honest assuaging of my mostly unwanted prejudice, says whoever this is. For all my years, you know, like when you're in a bad mood, get cut off in traffic, notice the ethnicity of that driver, and certain words pop into your head. Oh, yeah, I know exactly. I want Obama's election to make that involuntary reaction somehow less durable. And I really believe that a second welcome benefit will be our African-American friends feeling better about their suffering the last 200 years. Well-deserved in a state and an assuagement from something for me and I assume others. Who would have believed it, but I'm glad it's happening. Signed, I don't see color anymore. I wish and will keep trying not to. He wants to be assuaged. Larry says, this morning we shuttled about 50 first-time voters, various ages, but mostly older than 30 and all white, too, to their precinct in South Dade. They were all going to vote for Obama. Now, I'm back at work, so I'm out of touch again. Where are you reading about the early results? No, those aren't early results. What is wrong with these people? Those are the early voting totals from the various counties based on party registration, not based on who they voted for. They don't count the votes till the polls close.
They just hear what they want to hear.
God. Let's hope that everything goes smoothly in Florida and elsewhere today. Last thing we need is another election debacle, says Larry. Amen to that. Amen to that. Even the obnoxious, the subhuman Karl Rove is predicting an electoral landslide for Obama today. How do you like that?
Wow.
The obnoxious and criminal Karl Roving maniac.
The evil genius.
Danny says, happy birthday. Have a great day. Thanks, Danny. Jorge says, not our George. George is on vacation this week. He don't care. He's roller skating and getting laid. And smoking big fat ones. That's all he cares about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Gary Sarner voted for McCain, huh?
That's the word.
See, I wouldn't put it on the air except for the fact that he's running around a building, shooting off a big mouth, a big stupid mouth as usual. God, Gary, you're so stupid. Go kosher the house. Do something instructive, okay? Go kill some bacon cheeseburgers. for Moses. God. Jorge says, just moved to Orlando from Pembroke Pines due to the job transfer. Couldn't vote early in Pembroke Pines because of my move. I just voted here in Orlando with no problem. A lot of Obama supporters here. Go Obama, says Jorge. Mike W., corporate time-stealing weasel in Boca, says, I surfed the airways the other day at lunch during a commercial. I was curious to see what lardass was spewing. With such a big lead for Obama, the first thing I heard was an anti-abortion commercial. I immediately turned away. I voted early on Saturday for Obama. It took 3 hours. It better have been worth it, says Mike. It'll be worth it. Brandon, who's been relegated. I'm sorry, Brandon, about the AIM thing, but it just it was screwing up my computer.
Exactly.
Well, what have you got to do with it? Why are you sticking your nose in there?
Because I don't want your computer to be screwed up. You need it every day.
Well, I felt that he was wounded. He, took it personal. The fact that he couldn't instant message me and interrupt in the middle of the show, which we had a lot of fun doing that. But it was just slowing down my computer. And the AIM of all those things, man, of all the instant messaging things, AIM is the worst. And you want to know why? Because it's AOL.
Mm-hmm.
And it all of a sudden takes up the whole damn screen, and you can't get rid of it. And it's just a nightmare. So it's uninstalled. But Brandon's still there. He said, I went and voted, got in line at 6:30, and just got out in Pembroke Pines. This was at 10:18 this morning. So it took him a hell of a long time. That's good. That's a good sign in Pembroke Pines. Thanks, Brandon. Jonathan in Boca says, I hope you have a great birthday tomorrow. Thank you, Johnny boy. I was writing to someone recently who's pro-McCain, and they were trying to convince me to vote Republican. I told them I was voting for Obama because the ghetto neighborhoods will now feel empowered to riot. All the homeless will be scooped off the street and put in houses around his. All school lunches will be changed to soul food. A bill collector will show up at his house and take all of his hard-earned money away, and all the black prisoners in jail will be released and put back on the street because, let's face it, Barack is a black man, and they all stick together just like those Jews. Think I lost a friend? All the best, Jonathan in Boca.
Let's not forget he's a terrorist, too.
Yeah, and a socialist. And a communist. Comunista, 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 ba 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 comunista. Oh, those Green Teeth crowd, man, they're going to be really PO'd and fired up. They're going to be out there in Little Havana taking gigantic dumps on Calle Ocho. You'll see. Around 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Oh, comunista, comunista. Wow, look at just a ton of crap on there now. How do you like that? Bill says, I voted in Clearwater today. I waited behind The Walking Dead for about 10 minutes, and that was it. I was in and out. The only bright spot was hearing two old bags going after each other about who to vote for. An Obama supporter told the other old bat that she better vote for Obama. Only in America. Happy birthday, says Bill. Thank you, Bill. In Clearwater. Beautiful beaches. Horrible place. Horrible place. Clearwater. Well, if you were born in St. Pete, you know all about Clearwater, right?
Oh, yeah.
What a place.
That's
Am I
where
right?
Hooters started.
Is it really?
Yep.
Beautiful beaches, horrendous people. Clearwater. Brings back memories of the Clearwater Mall, that appearance we did at WSUN that time. Me and Phil and Randy and George at IOD. Boy, those were the days. Oh, and Flea is sitting here now, just in case that guy who emailed me yesterday, how come we have no Best of Neil stuff the last several years? Maybe Flea would like to answer that.
We don't have a budget for that. Don't have a budget for that. No, I say we do it. Let's do it. I think we can get that done.
And just what are we going to put on the Best of Neil? What bits are we going to put on there that are so funny that we can play?
Yeah, that could be the issue.
That could be part of the problem, too.
Can you get funnier? Can you do some?
No. No se permisa aquí. Here's one. I'm a 40-year-old Jamaican man. Yeah, man. I've been listening to you since June 96. I enjoy the bit diarrhea makes my butt blue. Diarrhea makes my butt blue? What the hell is that? I used to sing that song at work, he says. Those were the days I voted for Obama. Enjoy your birthday, says David. Thank you, David. Enough diarrhea. And, of course, that bloody diarrhea that Jolly Joe Bell has.
Biggest name.
Makes your butt red.
This is Neil Rogers.
Leader. Neil God.
Two of the most famous shows in all America. Two presidential candidates, one day to decide an election. Coming November 4th, Sarah Palin's favorite Joe Sixpack takes on the new media superstar of the campaign season, Joe the Plumber, in a no-holds-barred event.
Hey, man, I'm Joe Sixpack, the original Joe, and you're going down.
Listen, you lazy drunk. I may not have a plumbing license, but I got a license to clean your pipes.
The UFC presents Election 2008. Joe Sixpack versus Joe the Plumber, only on Election Day.
You fairy.
10:45 at 560 WQM. I'm sure we're going to be very election intensive all day on QM today. Oh, yeah. We got the Big O 2 to 4. Of course, he's
rock solid.
Mad Dog at Shula State 2 4 to 7. I'm sure he'll be trying to get the right wingers out there to vote 4 or 5 times. Dolphins tonight 7 to 8. Then the DA show 8 to 11. I'm sure we'll be election coverage intensive tonight, won't we?
No.
No.
I'm telling you, I'll go right on their new whiteboard.
You know something? You mind your own business, okay? One thing about you is you just got way out. You got your nose out of joint.
Why? Because I'm trying to make sure they do some voting talk?
No, because you're sticking your nose into their business, okay? Leave them alone. They have their agenda, okay? And if you start screwing with their agenda, you're going to be on the outside looking in.
I think I already am.
You know what I mean? On the outside looking in. And speaking of how, let's see, where's the other thing from Brandon here? Here it is. He says, never had a... Oh, and before I get to that, Richard in Coral Springs says, just a short note to let you know, the ever-loving genius folks at QM, your webcast sounding like something from the deepest regions of space. The breakups, the echoes, and the something are just so special on this election day. Nice to see things working in the same excellent order. They always are at QAM. Thanks, Dick. Now, do we have anything else about that? Nobody else complained about the...
No, I had Eric saying that there might have been a problem with it just before the show started, then he says, never mind, it's fine.
It's fine?
That's what he says, yeah.
Oh, we're fine.
Brandon says, never had a problem with AIM before George opened up a mouth, and now Fat Chris said something. But that's fine, I'll do this pain-in-the-ass email crap when I can, he says.
Oh.
And he's got a good point. We did the AIM thing for years. Well, not for years, but I mean for a couple of years since he's been on there. No problem. Then George opened up, because George hates AOL like poison. George hates Kraft Foods like poison. George hates a lot. He's a hate monger. You do know that, don't you?
He's an angry little man.
He is.
Oh, I hate them. I hate them. I hate this one. I hate that one. I hate.
And then, of course, Fat Chris opened up a mouth because he's the computer expert, the analyst.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You did. You opened up a big, fat mouth.
Well, AIM does kind of suck.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll see. I'll give it a try for a while and see if my computer continues being like greased lightning.
And as George said, like if you use Gmail, which is free, the two of you can load it up. You can have it on, and then there's an in Gmail chat that you can do.
Oh, listen, he can send me the emails like everybody else. Okay, Brandon's a big boy. He can handle it.
Okay.
I'm sure his ego is wounded and deflated, but that's your fault. You're the one that pissed him off.
Hey, they got your naked cowboy on CNN.
They got what?
Your naked cowboy.
My naked cowboy, that schmarmy-looking creature? My naked cowboy. So in other words, any guy that's on there with his clothes off is my guy?
No, any guy, basically.
And he endorses McCain.
Good.
Perfect.
Good. Thank God. Good God.
What's sad is he probably does make over that 250 too.
Just there, I got a button. My father's wearing 7 of them right now, Cincinnati. He's at the campaign. That's another thing.
Yeah, good old boy, redneck. Good old redneck for McCain there. That's the definitive McCain voter right there, that Yahoo.
Well, you know what's sad is later on CNN they'll ask whose endorsement it means more, the naked cowboy or Colin Powell.
Or Joe the Plumber or Joe Sixpack. What a crock of crap. Jason says, I waited about 40 minutes in your old WIOD neighborhood, North Bay Village, voted for Obama, of course. All the best on your birthday, you old fat Jew. For your next poll, Willie Nelson. He's obsessed with Willie Nelson like that one jerk is obsessed with Jerk Street. He'll be on with Joe tomorrow morning again for the umpteenth too many times. Jerk Street. Oh, what he brings to the table. Even Kenny and Blow on the morning show brought more to the square table. Remember that, the square table?
Wow.
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
That was brutal.
And, of course, there was always, or not, that. All those great features. Andy says, happy birthday, voted for Obama in a trailer park in Davie. The whole deal only took 1 hour. There may be hope for Florida. Boy, don't let the folks in Davie know you voted for that Schwarzer. I mean, naked cowboy my ass.
No, thank you.
Mark in Miami says, Neil, I'm a registered Republican who voted early for Obama. I voted against Bush as well, so maybe it's time for me to get off my lazy ass and change my registration to Democrats. Either way, I voted for the right guy. Also, please remind everybody to vote no on Amendment 2. Vote no on Amendment 2 and happy 66, says Mark. Thank you. See, they're pouring in now. Not the way they were in the beginning. When the first few days we did the email thing, it was a novelty. It was something different. It was a new avenue for them to explore. And then, of course, we had to weed out the chronics and the misfits. The misfits, oh, my God. Scary. That's one thing about the internets, man. Just loaded with misfits who are screaming for help.
I have no line.
That's their message. That's the universal message.
I have no line.
Uh-huh. Joe says, I voted for Joe Obama and waved a homemade sign on our street corner with fellow Democrats. My sign said, vote for hope, not hate. And there were a lot of car horns honking and many thumbs up with a few pasty white rednecky grumps with their thumbs down. Things are looking up here in Port St. Lousy, he says. Hopefully we can celebrate a victory, add to your birthday wishes. Have a great birthday, Neil. Love your show. Love you, blah, 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 says Joe. Thank you, Joe. In Port St. Lucie, how do you like that? Ever been there?
I have.
And?
Yeah, not much to it, really. A lot of shrimp and boats.
Like cheap water.
Yeah.
Like Temple Terrace and Lutz.
Oh, I've been to Lutz.
Bartow. I bet you, though, in Lutz they got a steak and shake.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
It's one thing about Tampa, man. They have been so far ahead of South Florida when it comes to fast food joints. Crystal Steak and Shake.
There's a Steak and Shake in Aventura now.
Yeah, they're around, but it's only in recent years that we finally got to shake it.
And they have Hardee's everywhere up there.
Yeah, I know. Oh, now maybe somebody will advise me. I'm seeing these ads for Burger King and their shroom cheddar. No, not cheddar.
Yeah, they have a mushroom Swiss.
Mushroom Swiss.
Yep.
You had it?
No.
Well, I'm sure somebody will give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on the shroom and Swiss at BK.
Commercials are annoying as hell.
I'm sure it's not. Well, why is that?
They're just really annoyingly stupid.
But it looks good, though.
Sure.
See, one thing about food, if you're peddling food on TV, you have to at least make it look good. You know what I mean? Now, there's one of these diet places, I don't want to mention which system it is, but they show you the food, and oh, my God, it looks like caca.
I know what you're talking about, where they show the pot roast. Oh, and the pizza looks terrible.
Yeah. Looks smarmy. Looks mushy. And there's one thing I don't like, it's mushy food. Like lasagna. Have you ever had lasagna that was mushy?
Ugh.
Oh. So if you can't even doll it up to make it look good on TV, then you know it's real dreck. I don't want to get Danny Boy upset or the Shoesmeister or anybody like that, but that. Anyway, here's a Neil in Hollywood says, I just got in line to vote in Hollywood. I got about a 30-minute wait time. About
30, man.
In Hallandale, it's about up to an hour and a half. As I'm writing you this email, I can't help but listen to the people talk about how there's already a problem inside the polling place. According to the people in line, if your ballot isn't properly bubbled in and you walk away from the machine, they aren't entering your ballot, a fact that many people may or may not know. Be sure and bubble it in. When that happens, they aren't counting the ballots until tonight. If I see it happen, I'll let you know. At least the weather isn't unbearably hot today. Down with the Beasleys, down with the rotund Joe Bell, says Neil in Hollywood. Thank you, Neil. All I can say to you is...
Neil, God!
1,654 votes on how important is this election. I know the poll's been up there 3 days now. Hey, if it's good enough for Footy, look what it did for him. I got his ass canned. Nice job over there, Footy. And speaking of Tom Jicka, I saw in his Sunday Q&A in the Scum Sentinel, somebody asking about whatever happened to Footy, and they mentioned the fact that Footy got canned. But, well, he's a very entertaining guy and a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. But why didn't you just say his show sucked, Tom? Why can't you say it? His show sucked. It sucked lemons. It sucked persimmons, Tom. But Tom always has to be, you know. Oh, and by the way, thanks to my close personal buddy Rick Shaw for sending me an email on MySpace. Do you know that he's the only person in the universe out of my 1,600 buddies on MySpace, my friends, who sent me a happy birthday greeting, Rick Shaw.
It's also a day early.
So in other words, you think tomorrow all those people on MySpace are going to be saying happy birthday, Neil? Your mama. No chance. Those people have all disappeared. The novelty wore off.
It's going to come flying in tomorrow.
Yeah, fly this.
No, thank you.
I think Brandon's right about you, man.
What's that?
I don't know. You hear the sirens? They're coming to get you.
Coming to take you away.
Drives me nuts. All those sirens. Just never stops. Danny, a 26-year-old white voter in Broward, says, you want to add another factor in the early voting stats you just read. Plenty of young registered Republicans such as myself are voting for Obama. Oh. All right, Danny. As a registered Republican, I'm embarrassed about how weak McCain and Palin are. Yes, McCain did serve our country honorably, but his health care plan and war strategy are paths to nowhere. Until America resolves these two important issues, things will only continue to worsen. Furthermore, McCain is a doddering old coot. Very well said. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm sure I did many times. A doddering old coot who probably plays golf with Mo when he's campaigning in Florida. Maybe Mo can lend him one of his Sunday dress hair pieces. It could only help. Maybe one day I'll vote for Republican again once they can be fiscally responsible and not be under the guise of we'll enact a spending freeze and take the corruption out of Washington. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's not likely to happen. If they can't do it, maybe the Republican Party's biggest supporter, Jesus Christ, can do it. Send Sarah Palin back to Alaska so she and her family can make more babies. That cute little baby. Maybe this will help her reconsider her stance on abortion. P.S. Happy birthday and doy. And bring Greg Reed back. Excellent facts. Oh. Email, whatever it is, Danny. I'm old and feeble, okay? I don't know what the hell it is. Excellent email. Wasn't that good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I bet you there are going to be thousands of them pouring in throughout the day. You'll see.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
This station presents Real American Heroes.
Real American heroes.
Today, we salute you, Mr. Campaign Lawn Sign Stealer.
Mr. Campaign Lawn Sign Stealer.
Every election year, people put up lawn signs for their favorite candidate. And you cleverly spend your nights secretly taking them down, trying to single-handedly destroy democracy.
Oh, no, now we can't vote.
What are you? Some kind of commie?
Please give me back my Obama sign.
So the next time you read about some joker who tried to influence the presidential election with a childish prank and got busted for criminal trespass in the process, remember he's Mr. Campaign Lawn Sign Stealer, a real American hero.
Mr. Campaign Lawn Sign Stealer.
Couldn't you just smash Halloween pumpkins like everyone else?
Oh, Christ, I had one about Fat Chris, and I deleted it by accident. I got 8 million emails on here. I'm serious. I'm serial. I've got 4 million. Thank you, Fat Chris, about the advice about the Gmail, which I've known about for a very long time, says Brandon. I'm very aware there are other avenues to chat. But with AIM, that was already there. Why complicate things and move to another chat program for no reason when there were no problems with AIM? First, it was only Cordes I wanted to put in front of a firing squad, meaning you're next. You're next, Fatso. Right in front of a firing squad.
Oh, shucks, I'm scared.
Boy, can you imagine the splat with that? Sounds good in Texas, says somebody. They're listening in Texas on the thing. On the stream. They're streaming it. You excited?
So.
Mm-hmm. One moment, please. Let me just get back to my thing. People, 1,669 vote on the poll that's been up there for a month. Sounds good in Texas. Thank you so much. And then here's one that's got links. Click on the following link. Oh, it's an e-card. Well, I think I got to click on those, don't I?
Correct.
E-card.
Yeah, you have to.
What?
Yeah, you have to.
I don't gotta.
But do
Maybe
you
I
wanna?
wanna. What?
Nothing. I was asking if you wanna.
And then it says send a reply. Well, I don't have time to send a reply. What is it? It's some guy sitting on a bench with pigeons. I don't get it. Oh. Well, I'm sure it's really cute. I just don't have time to pouchkey around with it. Jack says, first off, happy birthday, Neil. I'm glad I voted on the fourth day of early voting. Only waited 2 hours, which seems like a fair shake compared to what others have endured. For Obama, of course. I hate Sarah Palin McCain's guts. There's nothing that makes me sicker than these two phony liars. Actually, something does make me sicker. Any gullible schmuck that buys into their agenda. Green-toothed Republican crowd can hop back on a raft and use McCain-Palin signs as oars if they don't like it. After McShane loses the election, he can order Palin to wipe his ass while his buddy Joe the plumber unclogs his backed-up toilet. Wow. A little bit on the surly side, huh?
Just a little.
Bobby says, went to a polling place in Coral Springs, 100 people in line, about 50-minute wait. The problem is the ballot is printed in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Creole. Oh, my God. Speak of the English. Speak of the English. The site had 2 machines to read the ballot, but only one worked. Here we go again in Florida, says Bobby. I did vote for Obama. I like soul food and reggae music. Not fried chicken and country music. I'm a white woman, by the way, says Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. She do like her fried chicken. She didn't say whether she goes to like Church's or Kentucky Fried or Bojangles. I just got tons of stuff here. See, you ask for something and you get almost a little bit, hey, can you play Looking for a Leader by Neil Young? Yeah, like I got that. Happy birthday, you old coot, says Greg. I can see Cuba from my house. Go Obama, you the best. Okay. Boy, they're just pouring in. I told you they were. And you, no, not going to get there. They hate you, Neil.
Uh-huh.
There won't be. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
And then you got Brandon all PO'd. My good, close personal buddy. I've only got 2 friends from MySpace. The professor and Brandon. The rest of them are all like, and Ricky once in a while when he's not busy trying to straighten his life out. But then aren't we all? Despite an average NFL player's salary of more than $1 million, it's hardly automatic that players overwhelmingly favor Republican policies often associated with the wealthy. More than 70% of NFL players are African Americans, and many are from Democratic backgrounds, thank God. Because on QAM, isn't that what we're concerned about, is politics in the locker room? Mm-hmm. You bet. Politics in the showers, baby. Morals go into it, says Cleveland Browns receiver Braylon Edwards. You have to have some awareness of what you're voting for. Yeah, there's high morals in the NFL. There's no question about that. In this campaign, the possibility of Obama becoming the first African-American president is appealing to some players for its social significance. It's special to me, but I think it should be special to everybody, really, said Philadelphia Eagles running back Brian Westbrook. This country is built on diversity. Different races mingling, different cultures from around the world mingling. It would seem to me it would only be natural that at this point in time the political scene would be diverse as well. It's diverse and perverse, Brian. Regardless of which side on the political fence they're on, several players echoed the nation at large in citing economic issues as the top priority for a new president and driving force for how they'll vote. Some NFL players are not a world away from economic ails such as layoffs or plant closings that hamper the economy. I think we relate very well, says Scott. Most of us are from lower-class homes, so where we may be blind to what our family members are not. We feel it when they call and say, hey, man, I can't pay my rent, I lost my job, can you help me with this? We feel it because we carry the weight of so many people. We can't continue to take care of everybody because eventually we'll be poor. That's how I feel. We want to see them help themselves. Even so, some players don't want to hear endorsements or opinions from any of their colleagues. Dallas Cowboys linebacker Zach Thomas, speaking of rednecks, says he watched all the presidential debates, kept abreast with news shows and studied the issues, but he doesn't dare speak publicly about the candidate he supports. Oh, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine who Zach Thomas supports?
Well, President Bush, probably, since he's a Texas guy.
Whenever I've seen talk from actors, football players, whoever really rubs me wrong, Zach says, most of the time they don't even know the key issues, so I'm not going to be that guy because I don't know enough. Well, that's for damn sure. Jets defensive tackle Chris Jenkins, meanwhile, is the type of voter that both candidates have been trying to woo during the stretch run of their campaigns. He's an undecided independent. After a stellar performance at Buffalo on Sunday, Jenkins said he looks forward to the research that would help him make up his mind. He planned to huddle with his wife and compare the candidates' positions on various issues. He's going to huddle with his wife. Oh, my God. Oh, these jocks. It just, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. It's hardly surprising that many players cite taxes as a key issue. Tennessee Titans tight end Algie Crumpler, despite his wealth, isn't sold on the merits of tax credits that Bush instituted 3 years ago and McCain's pledged to continue. The overwhelming majority of the American people aren't doing as well as they were 3 years ago before those tax credits, said Crumpler, an Obama supporter. I believe in bottom-line philosophy. Commissioner Roger Goodell, whose late father Charles served in the Senate, a Republican from New York, is excited that interest in the campaign has inspired millions of new voters to engage in the process. But who cares about Roger Goodell? That would be like somebody caring about Bud Light. All these commissioners, man. Well, what is that all about? Oh, and by the way, Bill, I got 8 million emails here, and you're letting me ramble on about dumb jocks in the locker room. Dumb jocks. White jocks aren't allowed to vote, by the way. Rednecks, you're not allowed to vote. And Orthodox Jews definitely do not even try to vote. They'll turn your ass away. They'll take away your tzitzis. Is Gary Sarner running around with tzitzis?
I'm not sure what that is.
And a yarmulke? And a tallis?
He is running around with his shirt half buttoned and his chest hairs
I think I once saw Kevin Wallace with a tallis at the Pompano Park. Bill says, I had one of those burgers and it was terrible. I went back in with one bite out and got my money back. Don't try it. He took one bite out of it and he threw it at him and said, "Fair! Give me my money back. Don't try it," he said. Doesn't sound too promising. Doesn't sound like Hardee's, does it?
No way.
I sure love Hardee's no shroom burgers. Why don't we have Hardee's in South Florida?
I don't know.
No idea.
Maybe you guys get together, open up a franchise.
I was gonna say, why don't you do that?
Because I don't live there. I mean, theoretically I do.
In today's economy, I bet you can make a lot of money there.
What, I'm going to open it up just for your fat ass?
No.
He can keep you in the green.
How about for my fat ass? Yeah. Yeah, with all the big bucks that Fat Chris is making, he could sure keep us going.
Yeah.
Neil, do you get Sky News on your cable there? Of course not. It's one of the largest cable news channels in the world, based in Britain. No kidding. No kidding, Bill. Their election coverage headquarters is a White House on Delito Island in Miami Beach. For a second, I thought it said Dildo Island. Yesterday, they had WIOD's Ken Charles on his election A-list. If you think he sounds like a loser on the air, you should see him on TV. Ken Charles, a real jerk. He's right in there with Jerk Street, Ken Charles. Oh, Neil Rogers is the gold standard of talk radio. We've got to have him here at Cheap Channel. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They wouldn't pay anybody 50 cents. All they do is want to open up a pot and put some syndicated right-wing sputum on the air. That's what they know at Cheap Channel. Butchers. Alejandro says, I'm a registered Cuban Republican from Miami who's never voted for Democrat until this morning. Sorry it took me so long to open my eyes. Happy birthday. Thank you, Alejandro. How do you like that? Thank you, Alex. 1,675 votes. Don't you think we ought to change the poll? But I don't know what to change it to because we don't know what's going on. Oh, there's Sarah. Sarah's voting.
At Wasilla City Hall.
Oh, my God. Sarah's voting.
And I believe, is that correct, Kelly? She's scheduled to leave 1:45 Eastern Time for the trip to Phoenix.
Who cares, my God? Get a life, you moron. Tony Harris, the Antichrist. 1,676 votes on the poll. How important is today's election to you? Life and death, 1,041. Somewhat important, 421. Don't give a Schmidt, 110. WTF, 69. And not very important, only 35. Oh, wait, I got to do a spot. I'm going to start doing that a lot just to keep you on your toes.
Okay.
Burn some calories.
Sounds good.
Burn off a few calories from that fat, tubby, lard-ass body of yours. You got some nerve talking me out of that AIM thing.
Hey, I didn't talk you out of it. I just agreed with George.
No, I don't like it. It's a pain in the ass. It's a nuisance. And every time you reboot your computer and start it, it's just all over it, you know? All those IM things. MySpace IM, Yahoo Instant Messenger, all that stuff is caca. Right?
Well, for the most part, yeah.
What?
For the most part, yes.
And which part is not?
We haven't figured that out yet.
Leader. The sports leader.
That was special.
Oh, Alonzo, you're so big.
I'm John McCain, my friends. I approve of this song. Don't plan on me living, my friends, 'cause I'm not in the best of health. My chipmunk cheeks are bigger, and I don't feel that well, my friends. My chipmunk cheeks are bigger, and I'm not feeling that well. When I'm all done living, I want you to go to hell. You're gonna be living in hell, yes. Feel like you're living in hell. 'Cause when I die, and when I'm gone, you're gonna have a dumb bitch hockey mom who'll be the most powerful leader in the world to carry on, my friend. See, my supporters want to kill him, but he's not an Arab, my friend, or an intellectual, but that one is I guess you could say is a decent man. Remember what I say, my prisoners, I'm a cranky brain-dead man. The maverick is slipping, I'm a cranky brain-dead man with not long to go. Here I go now, my cheeks are swelling. Change my diaper, baby, when I'm behind. Don't spread the wealth, children. Spread this. Don't spread the wealth. No. Just give it to me. I'm riddled with deadly cancer. I'm suffering from Alzheimer's. But I'm all the rednecks got to keep the White House white. And when I die, my friends, when I'm dead and gone, my friends, you're going to have a dumb bitch hockey mom who will be the most powerful leader in the world. Carry on, my friends.
Got some bad news from Virginia.
Uh-oh.
Massive machine failures spur call to extend Virginia voting hours. Details soon on the Raw story. I'll keep my eye on it.
Coincidence?
I'll keep my fly on it. Yeah. Massive machine failures spur call to extend Virginia voting hours. They're trying to figure out how to get the old fix in there.
Well, they just got to watch, Ohio from the last election.
Maybe the judge with the big eye, with the big flaring eye from Palm Beach County, maybe he'll move to Richmond or Roanoke or someplace elsewhere in Virginia. Oh, it's just amazing. If they steal another one, man, I'm moving. I'm leaving the U.S. Jason says you can configure AIM not to start at Windows Startup. I'm sure Chris could walk me through that.
Yep.
You could?
Yep.
Yep. You don't sound too enthusiastic about it.
If you want me to, I'll walk it to you tomorrow morning.
Well, we'll work on it. I'll put that on top of my pile there so I see it, and we'll think about it. Bill says, last night in Stewart, my neighbors and I caught some old farts stealing Obama signs. He was driving a Lincoln or something of the sort, had a special Air Force Florida tag. We grabbed the sign back from him, noted many torn-up Obama signs in the back of his car. We asked him what the hell he was doing. He said he wanted a sign. He said he wanted a sign for his yard as he made a getaway. I called the Stewart police. Now, there's a joke. It says, who didn't seem to care and gave him his tag number and voted for Obama today. Nice going, Bill. Shoot the son of a bitch. That's all. Wanted one for his own yard. Right, your mama. Ed says mushroom Swiss is great if you get it not loaded. I think you're loaded. I have no idea what that means. Get it not loaded.
I guess
and
now with
another
everything.
One. What?
Now with pickles and lettuce and tomatoes and stuff.
Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce.
Ooh, who would put that on
fat Chris
on a mushroom
sure
Swiss?
upsets us?
That sounds gross anyways. Who would put lettuce and tomato on a mushroom Swiss burger anyway?
A fool. Brandon says, I prefer Burger King over McDonald's, but I don't recommend getting any specialty burgers from BK. They usually are not good except for the BK Stacker, which is very good. And there was a Hardee's in Hialeah a million years ago on 49th Street. Seems to me I may remember that. I lived in Hialeah Lakes for like a few months. $1976, I'm thinking. Well, what a nightmare that was. And the apartment was just loaded with bugs and flies and ugh. But that's the way it goes. That's Hialeah. They probably came in from the racetrack. Nice going, Brunetti. You did a beautiful job on that place, man. Anyway, the thing about specialty burgers, let me say again, you got to go a long way to beat the anus burger with the bacon and cheddar at Mickey D's. I know you can't get it, but boy, someday you will be able to get it, and then you'll say, oh, the old man was right. Someday when they have me in a box, somebody will say, the old man was right. These are pretty good. Well, like Fat Chris, he'll be chomping on 2 or 3 of them.
Sure.
You can't eat 2 or 3 of those, let me tell you. They're on those big pastry buns, whatever the hell that means. Even a fat cow like you can't eat 2 or 3 of those. Even a fat pig like me can't. Even somebody who could eat a half-gallon of ice cream in one sitting. Now, most of you don't believe that, do you?
That's just still wow.
So what?
That's just wow to me.
Wow? Oh, speaking of wow.
The buck is stopping at your desk.
It's your desk.
You have
Keep
to
winking and blinking, honey. Something, I don't know who makes me angrier, her or Drew Lieberman or Gary Cerner.
It's close.
Oh, that Gary Cerner, what a putz. If you look up putz in the dictionary, his picture's next to it. If you look up Schmendrick, Schlemazel, Chaim Yankel, there's Gary Cerner. David says, hey, happy birthday, Neil. I went and voted this morning in Hollywood. The line wasn't too long, but they only had 5 booths. I was there for about 2 hours. I voted for Obama. Hopefully my vote gets counted this year. Yeah, it'd be nice if the Obama votes get counted, especially in Virginia, would be nice, where they seem to be having some difficulties already. It's not even noon yet, and they're already having some issues. Now, the polls close in Virginia allegedly at 7, but they're thinking about maybe extending that. Let me see if this thing on Raw Story, if they have the details. No, still says soon. Soon. Rachel Maddow, that pasty dog, says Election Day chaos may aid GOP. Now, what does that mean?
Not sure.
Election Day chaos. Election system is the weak link in the Obama strategy, says Rachel. Well, still can't deal with her. Pasty and weak. And she's got all the same talking heads from Oberman, every single one of them.
She's like Oberman light.
Exactly, Oberman Jr. George says, the marathon is over. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think the Republicans are going to steal this one. The truth is, these guys don't have the campaign machine that Bush did. They're a lot less scary in that regard than the Bushies. What I'm concerned about is the type of campaign McCain has run. It's not just the hate. It's the way the same catchphrases are repeated like a drumbeat, especially by that witch Palin. It's like watching a kindergarten teacher talking to her students about sexual predators. It should come off to these folks as insincere and condescending, but instead they follow suit and boo along with some occasionally shouting, kill the nigger, just like a kindergarten class. Psychologically, these people are whipped up to an almost trance-like state. Where does that venom and vitriol go tomorrow morning when they wake up to a country headed by someone who many of them see as the Antichrist? Scary stuff. Well, I guess it's fitting that tomorrow will be the birthday of...
Oh, God!
What better way to usher in the reign of the Antichrist? Have a happy, safe, healthy birthday, says George. Thank you, George. See, I told you, they're all whipped up to a frenzy. We got 80 billion emails now in spite of Fat Chris saying, oh, they're not going to talk to you today. They hate you. They want George back.
Uh-huh.
Brandon's right about you. You're evil. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you're on your days off from Joe Bell, like when he was out in Denver, you're doing Gary Cerner on the side.
Wow. Oh, definitely not.
Wow.
Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
Oh, my what?
That's just another bad visual.
Oh, my God.
Who's the top and who's the bottom in that situation?
Oh.
Yeah. Fat Chris and Gary Cerner. Good.
I heard Cerner was a power bottom.
You're really disgusting.
A power bottom. Oh, God. Woo! I hear he's got a power...
Rectum.
That's the rumor I'm spreading. I disliked him intensely before, but when you told me that he's running around shooting a mouth off about the fact he's voting for McCain and his wife is voting for Obama, I think that's solidified. That just, solidified his standing in my mind. Not that he cares, because, that's Hill's department. They're all experts. 1,695 on that poll. I'm leaving it the same until we get at least like 1,700.
Hi, this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Absolutely.
Ground control to Major Patel. Ground control to Major Patel. Take your curry pills and put your turban on. Ground control to Major Patel. 7-Eleven. 6. Countdown is commencing. Yes, my friend. 2. Push your head out and may Shiva's love be with you. This is Major Patel to ground control. I'm heading for the moon. And it looks like the moon pies in aisle 3. And I'm so happy I have my Slurpee. This beach standing behind the counter 20 hours a day. On planet Earth, my friend, I say thank you, come again. Thank you, come again.
Okay, Punjabi. 11:31 at 560 WQM. Happy Election Day to you. We've got 50 billion emails today. Boy, it's going to take till midnight to read all of these. Then all your returns will be in. And then what?
And then you can go to sleep.
An election monitoring group is asking officials in Virginia to address reports of massive voting machine failures and voters being turned away from the polls, and it may go to court if no action is taken. See, they spread it around. In 2000 it was Florida. In 2004 it was Ohio. And now maybe it's going to be Virginia. Because they know that they can't possibly win there in a fair election. They're losing by like 6-7 points in Virginia. They being the right wing, the neocons, the fascists, the neo-Nazis. Election Protection, a nonprofit group aimed at cataloging and correcting problems at the polls, says it's received more than 27,000 calls from voters since 5 o'clock this morning. Most problems have been reported in Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, and Florida. We don't want to be Chicken Little here, said Jonah Goldman, who directs the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Campaign for Fair Elections. What we're trying to do is report what we're seeing out in the field. Unfortunately, this is what we expected. During a press conference this morning, group representatives said they were asking election officials in Virginia to extend voting by 2 hours. The group also wants elections to ensure that paper ballots are available in precincts where the electronic voting machines are down. If elections officials fail to act, the group could file a lawsuit in federal court, but it hopes to avoid that option. We understand that litigation is the last and imperfect option, Goldberg said. Our first priority is to solve these problems collectively. This isn't that same right-wing, self-hating Jew, Jonah Goldberg. Is that the one it is?
No idea.
The group hopes voters are not discouraged by long lines or other problems throughout the day. Today, federal law allows voters who are in line at precincts before the polls close to cast regular ballots. If courts decide to extend voting hours, people arrive at polling places after the polls would have closed have to cast provisional ballots. Oh, boy. Observers worry that voters in some areas are being given provisional ballots instead of regular paper ballots. This creates the potential for disenfranchisement and complicates the process because provisional ballots aren't counted along with the rest of the election results. Here we go again. I'm going to kill myself right now. Christ. I missed, by the way.
Well, that's good.
That's good because you guys don't have enough material to fill up another 2.5 hours.
Absolutely not.
Although Jason says, could you please tell Fat Chris and Tick to speak when they're spoken to? They both have a severe case of diarrhea of the mouth. And when is George back? Shut your pie hole, says Jason, who thinks he runs the show, by the way. We have many people out there who think that they run the show, you know.
Are you speaking to me now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why, you think you run the show?
No. I just, want to make sure I'm not...
He doesn't want to talk out of turn.
Yeah.
Say whatever the hell you want whenever you want to say it.
Cool.
1703 on Fat Chris's poll. Ray says, as a fellow Scorpio, November 15th, 56 years old, I wish you all the best. Keep on entertaining, educating the masses. What you do is important and relevant, even if you don't think so. Oh, I think so. Twice a month, I think so, on the 10th and 25th. When those big, fat paychecks come arriving at the box. That's what I think. And other than that, it's not important. Myrna says, would like to say happy birthday and would also mention you giving me years of enjoyment. I moved to Westchester, New York after living in Miami for 20 years. I get up here and the first thing I hear is that Joey Reynolds, blah, blah, blah. Regards, Mick T. Thank you, Mick. My Kraut Mick friend. How do you like that news from Virginia?
Well, it makes sense.
You know, years and years ago, we had voting machines with levers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you go behind a curtain and you flip the lever, all the levers on the various races, and that would be it. And it would automatically tabulate in there, and that was it. That was it. And when you watch the election coverage on TV, they didn't have any exit polling, and they didn't tell you like at 7 o'clock at night who won and who lost. They would show you the actual hard count from each state, and it would go on for hours. But it was like dramatic, you know, like a little drama for your mama, for Obama. Now, the people who cover the elections are much more important than the actual result itself or the candidates. Just ask them, they'll tell you. Like Chris Matthews, that's stupid, who will never shut up, by the way.
Ugh, he's annoying.
His technique in interviewing is like starting to ask a question, then when the guest starts answering the question, he interrupts and keeps talking again. With his politics, you know, he can't even speak. He is downright annoying. He ought to be taken out with Gary Sarner, put in a dumpster somewhere. That's my assignment to Flea after the election is over. Take Gary Sarner out and put him in that big dumpster back there by where all those old folks live next door.
Gladly.
Stick his ugly, nasty, orthodox ass in there. And stick it in there next to a bunch of trafe. You know, like bacon cheeseburgers, stuff like that. Take a couple of cans of Spam and throw them in there and cover Gary Sarner's body with Spam. I wonder if he brown bags it. I'm sure he has a big expense account, so he goes out and, you know, has expensive lunches every day. Because if he brown bagged lunch one day, you can go in there and, like, trafe his lunch.
Throw a little shrimp in there.
You're going to burn in hell, Gary. You're going to burn in hell. What?
Throw a little shrimp and lobster in there.
A little simp? Whatever happened to Cordes, by the way? Since he got that check, he's vanished. Not that I'm complaining, but...
Actually, he was here very early today.
Doing what?
I don't know, web work.
Yeah, oh yeah, probably getting that thing all set for Thursday to screw it up. He's probably got a new thing that crawls up and down the left side of the page. That as soon as we start our Neil deal, it's going to like just stop right there over my face so nobody can get on there. David says, happy birthday, many more. Been a listener since the 80s. Your sense of humor and analysis of current events is unmatched. I do miss the Sofa King bits and Bill Cigar and Monica's Thing parody and the always popular Kiss A Blank Good Morning, but time moves on. Yes, it sure does. I recently moved from Boca to Alpharetta, Georgia, about 30 miles north of Atlanta.
About 30, man.
Golf courses, new malls, 5 times more houses than South Florida, and 1/10 the insurance costs. I was in a furniture store the other day. While my wife shopped, I relaxed in a recliner. On the store music came the hideous Janice Ian song, Fast Car. I don't remember that song, do you?
Tracy Chapman, Fast Car.
I started humming and sang quietly, Lordy, what a boring song. A salesman overheard me and said, the Neil Rogers Show. I laughed and said, absolutely. I just moved from a Pompano he had. Anyway, just letting you know, the awesome reach of the Neil Rogers Show is made in Atlanta. Oh, yeah, I always wanted to be big in Atlanta. Oh, my God. Anyway, happy birthday. I'm a wealthy right-wing Republican fascist and voted for McCain, but I'm ready for the boy wonder, ready to assume the wealth spreader position. Oh. A wealthy right-wing Republican fascist who voted for McCain. Oh. How sad. Why are you playing this?
That was Fast Car.
Just try and wait until after Tuesday to wear them, okay? Because I am not going anywhere. And I'm certainly not going back to Alaska.
Yeah, that's because they don't want your ugly ass there. And anybody who thinks that she's attractive, boy, deaf, dumb, and blind. Well, what's attractive about her? That beak? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Or the fact that they just know that she's trailer trash and an easy lay. That might be it.
biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
Yank it, baby. Hi, guys and gals. I'm Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. When I'm not shooting caribou from a helicopter hovering 50 feet off the ground, I'm a 44-year-old wife, mother, and future grandmother of an illegitimate child conceived out of wedlock. But I'm also an endorser, and I'm here today to tell you folks about an exciting new perfume for you gals out there. It's called Pentecostal perfume. Named after the religious practice I no longer associate myself with due to its controversial nature, Pentecostal perfume will make you smell divine and make you speak in tongue. It's perfect for all occasions, whether you're hunting or running or taking a field trip to the nuclear plant. Gosh darn it, this is a fragrance for all you gals. Other perfumes just pale in comparison. I'm Sarah Palin, and I approve this fragrance.
That's the word around Wasilla. Sarah's really good with the tongue. 11:45 at 560 WQM. We got a bunch of sports crap starting at 2. We got the Big O. We got Mad Dog at Shula State, too. Although much better we have the Mad Dog talking about ball games than politics. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Is he still banging away on that McCain crap?
I haven't really listened lately.
Well, why not?
I'm usually just busy.
Are you listening to Dan LeBastard?
No.
Now, what's the big deal with him? What's the claim to fame besides he thinks he's funny?
I think that's pretty much it.
And that he's got Stu Gatz on with him? I mean, that's pretty funny. That's hysterical. Anyway, South Point Elementary and 200 Alton Road have short to no lines. Very heavy Obama voting, says somebody. Short to no lines. Of course, you got to go where your precinct on election day. I didn't realize in the early voting go anywhere. And that's, of course, they keep a lot of this stuff a secret. They don't do a good job of publicizing it because they don't really want you to vote. They pretend they want you to vote, but they don't. They want to throw every possible roadblock in your way. Oh, you look too dark to vote, or you look too Jewish to vote, or you look too young to vote, you look too old to vote, you look too stupid to vote. Well, I tell you, if that was the criterion, whether you're too stupid to vote or not, boy, they could count all the votes in about a half an hour. I'm not just talking Florida. I'm talking the U.S., eh? What are you chuckling about?
No.
Shut your pie hole now, Tick. How do you like these people, man? They're very authoritarian.
Very bossy, yeah.
Yeah, really bossy. Like Mike Bossy. Let's talk some hockey. What do you say? Leafs and the Hurricanes tonight at the Scare Canada Center. Ask me if I'm going to that game.
No. Are you going?
I'm sure you're going.
Video. He was the video guru, and Ronnie, that's one of the things that he learned. So, no, I think it's the ultimate job for Ronnie. It's not something that's going to happen overnight where the franchise is going to turn around. And Ronnie being a diehard New York Yankees fan, the Maple Leafs are the New York Yankees of Canada.
How do you like that?
What? So that means they spend a lot of money and don't make the playoffs.
This part of... Yeah, now what just happened to my Leafs TV? It just went black after he said that. It went blank.
No, I'm excited. I tell everybody about it. I'm extremely proud.
Oh, that's Ron Wilson's brother, our Dumbo coach. Oh, my God, do I hate him like poison. God. Edmonton Oilers and Winnipeg Jets, 1990, Game 4. Let's get a little hockey on here.
He goes overlooked with the Buffalo Sabres many times because you got
800 hockey channels, but no hockey games on right now. Jesus, let's have a little hockey on Election Day. What do you say, eh? Let's crank up a little Joe Bowen for crying out loud. 17-17 on Fat Chris's poll. Our goal is to get to whatever the number is going to be, because it's going to still be on there tomorrow, I guess. Although maybe I'll change it before the show tomorrow. How do you... Well, we already know how they're going to feel. If Obama wins, this audience is going to say, all right. And if McCain wins, there's going to be nobody left. They'll all commit suicide, commit sausages. What do you think?
I agree.
Michelle in Plantation says, happy birthday. Tomorrow's my 66th birthday, by the way. Cash gifts will be accepted. And I know that if they brought by bags full of cash, you guys would make sure that it got up here.
Oh, of course.
Definitely. I don't have any cards or anything from anybody there. Not that I'm expecting anything, but I have nothing. Every year on my birthday, it's the same thing from the management there. You know what I get?
Nothing?
Correct. Not balloons, not a card, not anything. Nothing. Now, what about your buddy Fat Ass Joe? Is he back from Denver, or is he still out partying after the victory?
I think he's back, but I haven't seen him.
Well, no wonder you sound like you're in a good mood, Tick. And don't forget, shut your pie hole.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, says Michelle. I'm originally from New York City. I love your show. Just to let you know, I voted 2 weeks ago in Plantation. However, my brother, who lives in New York, called me and informed me that I was still a registered voter in my old neighborhood in Brooklyn. Neil, I moved to Broward County 10 years ago. I'm a registered voter in Broward, voted in 2 elections. What gives? Well, go to Brooklyn and vote again, honey. Wish I could fly to New York and vote for Obama again. She says, love and kisses, Michelle in Plantation. A lot of ladies on the emails. You notice that?
Yeah.
No ladies on the phone when we used to take those awful calls, which we're not. I'm going to reach over and shut that off today. Unless they have something really important like, oh, my God, all the voting machines are broken, or like that. Which would be a lie anyway. Not all of them. Just enough to fix it. Oh, wait a minute. I live in Northern Virginia. I woke up early this morning to vote for Obama. I found that my polling place had half the amount of voting machines, 8, that were available during the last election. There was a huge line, and the volunteers at the polling place were offering folks the chance to use paper ballots to expedite their voting. No one took their offer. We all waited in line about 2 hours till we were able to vote. I guess they didn't count on the fact that folks are willing to wait in line rather than use paper ballots which can easily get lost or miscounted or just Schmidt-canned. Now it appears that voting machines are having problems, and people have no choice but to use a paper ballot. Something stinks in Virginia, says David. Happy birthday. Oh, and George is a self-hating spick and sucks real bad.
Wow.
What?
That was a little harsh on George.
Are you going to deny what he just said?
No, it's just a little harsh. That's all.
George is fine, except that he's such a hard ass.
I hate Kraft. I hate AOL. I hate the wife. I hate.
A government that robs Peter to pay Paul can always depend on the support of Paul, George Bernard Shaw said. Well, isn't that great? What a line. People take their time to send me crap like that. Jeannie is sending back. I got yours in my pile, Jeannie, okay? Happy birthday and platonic kisses. I'll get to it. Spieg says if the Republicans steal another election due to shenanigans in Virginia and who knows where else, the full-fledged revolt is in order. However, most Americans are too dumb and ignorant to care. How very sad. I'm sick to my stomach, says Spiegs, with a barf after it. Bruce Williams. Go get him, Tiger, on a Tuesday. Now, that's got to be, it says from James, but that's got to be from Johnny Dork. Who else remembers Bruce Williams on Tuesday? Is he still on the air, Bruce Williams?
No idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that
He
is.
used to do a financial show. He was a real phony, a real fake. What's doing? And, he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Like all these financial gurus, like the people on the gambling channel. Now, let's see. The stock market's open, even though it's election day because it's not a holiday. Let's see how the market's doing on election day. The Dow is up 305 points. That's because they smell an Obama win. Now, usually they like the Republican to win because they know that the Republicans are all for big business. The Dow is up 308. Good God. The NASDAQ has the first 6-day winning streak of 2008. The euro is back to $1.30. That's not too bad. Not good. And what about the Canadian dollar? Let's get on that BNN network, okay? BM network. Toronto Stock Exchange is up almost 400 points. That must mean that oil is up again.
Yeah, oil went up a little bit.
Yeah, see? There you go. Oh, are you one of these investors?
I was until I just looked at my IRA about a month ago, and I'm really sad.
And there's nothing there?
Oh.
Oil, 69, 67, almost $70 a barrel. That blows. Get it down to about $10 a barrel like it used to be. Where's the Canadian loony, eh? Let's get it on there. It's only a 4-hour show, for Christ's sakes. These people out there don't care about it. I care about it because it's like life and death to me. You know what I mean by that?
No.
Well, no. When my American dollar is worth a lot more in Canadian dollars, then it's a helpful thing. When that loony goes up and the American dollar starts sucking wind, thanks to George Bush, they're not putting it on there for some reason. The Toronto Stock Exchange is up 394 and the Dow is up 300. Oil 69.69, but they are not putting the loony on there. Come on, the old man wants to see the freaking loony, eh? And they're not putting it on there. What do you think that's all about? Oh, 86.82. That's bad. Oh, that's really bad. It was down to 72 cents last week. Now it's back to almost 87 cents. That sucks. That blows. Blows chunks. Blech! Okay, let's get back to these 50,000 emails. Barbara says, we wish you a happy birthday. Can't forget yours because our daughter's on 11-9. We'd like to see a goodbye letter from the blue states to the red state. Oh, I've had 80 million of these. Okay, thanks, Barbara. It's a goodbye letter from the blue states to the red states. Okay, thanks. Paul says, Neil, I was driving home from work last night here in Clearwater and saw a bunch of self-hating black people with signs that read, No Obama, with a McCain-Palin endorsement. What I found strange is that they look like some of the young voters Obama's attracted. I suppose anybody would sell out if the money is right. On a good note, my wife and I voted for Obama this morning. We're hoping for a good result in Florida. Well, not just in Florida, Paul. Got to win more than just Florida. Get out and vote early and often. Thanks, Paul from Tampa. And then it says Clearwater. And what does that mean?
I don't know.
I mean, don't I know the difference between Tampa and Clearwater? You sure do, because you're from St. Tweet. That's probably why you talk like that. Tweet. Like Tweety Bird. Tweet. Twick a tweet. When you go to Flea's house on Halloween, that's what he says. Open the door. Twick a tweet. Like that. I wonder what Geldy says when they come to his door. I wonder if Gary Sarner is feeding Trafe candies to the trick-or-treaters. You think? I don't think they allow any goyim within 100 yards of where he lives.
No.
They koshered the hood. 1,720 votes on the poll. Now, that would be very impressive if we just put it on there this morning, wouldn't it?
Extremely.
But unfortunately for us,
The biggest
it's
name.
been on there for 100 years.
This is Neil Rogers.
And Osama bin Laden. And whenever I am in Miami, I listen to Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Burn all the dial computers.
All right.
Burn all the dial computers.
Absolutely.
Burn all the dial computers. Burn all the dial computers. Right now, the Nazi weasel ghouls of the GOP. Use this for a tool to help the neocons cheat. Throw them in the street and stack them in a big heap. And set them all on fire till they melt out from the heat. Burn all the dial computers.
Oh.
Burn all the dial computers.
You fairy.
Burn all the dial computers. Burn all the dial computers. Break them into pieces. Smash them with a bat. Destroy them all today. No one's gonna miss them. They don't work anyway. If Democrats don't grow back, then 1960s balls. It won't be long before there ain't no Democrats at all. Burn all the dial computers. We gotta stop the cheat. Burn all the dial computers. Oh, no, they're gonna beat them. Burn all the dial computers. Burn all the dial computers. Yes to this, yes. Burn all the dial computers. Yes to this, yes. Burn all the dial computers. Yes to this, yes. Burn all the dial computers. Burn the Lord right now. Burn all the dial computers.
Oh, there's Kerry Sanders in Miramar.
As you look over my shoulder here now, you can see the line here. It's been steady since, well before the polls opened at 7 o'clock this
Ain't no
morning.
thing.
Folks have been in line here, moving through at about a 2-hour clip. The line is shortened up a little bit, but, you know, this is the lunch hour now, so people are just getting in their cars at work and getting out, so I suspect the line will probably lengthen up a little bit. One thing to note is a lot of people are going to be tuning in, waiting for you to, Chuck, to see what the exit polling and other suggestions are about which state is being called. The Florida polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but people forget Florida's a big state, 2 time zones.
8 p.m.
So,
Panhandle, baby. Pensacola, Tallahassee, all them rednecks, all them good old boys upstate. So the polls don't really close in Florida till 8 p.m. For you folks, till 7 p.m. Unless you're listening online in Pensacola and Redneckville up there in the Panhandle. Ever been in the Panhandle?
Oh, absolutely.
I've driven through it real fast. What do you mean, absolutely?
Well, I went to Florida State, and we drove there a lot. Yeah.
Oh!
I lived in Tallahassee.
Oh! And
we would go over to Panama City to go to the Redneck Riviera, that we'd call it, and hang out and do spring break stuff.
Yeah, the beaches there are beautiful.
Yeah, they are nice.
And all the Christian retreats, they go there to the beaches in Panama City, and they screw their brains out on the beach.
And Destin is real nice, too, and that's a nice beach.
Destin?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Anyway, Bill says, just to correct your repeated mistake, the loonie was never at 72 cents. It was down to 77 cents, though. Well, excuse me. You made a mistake. And as far as never, not correct. It was 62 cents when I first came here about 7 years ago. 62, not 72, 62. Then it was a real bargain. Everything was like a bargain. The American dollar was worth something. Now it's back to like 86, 87 cents, that freaking loony. Oh, my God. That's enough to drive you...
Loony?
Right. What happened to Fat Chris? Is he like laying
I'm
out?
still here.
I thought maybe the blood sugar rush from all the food you must have shoved in your puss this morning got to you.
No, I haven't really had anything this morning.
Well, why not?
Because I get up and I come straight to work.
I say let's get some free food in there for the troops. It's Election Day, for crying out loud.
That would be the American thing to do.
Yeah, except for your buddy Jolly Joe Bell. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't say that. You can't say this. A man who lives to make everyone else miserable. Good God. No wonder the Lord smote him with a crooked penis or whatever. Remember he was having some problems there about a year ago?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean, oh, yeah? He was having some, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it.
A urinary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe a gigantic bloody tumor inside of his thing would be good.
Ugh.
Huge, dripping, pus-filled, bloody tumor. Anyway, Steve says, or whoever this isn't Steve, somebody. I just voted in Margate. I was in line for 2 hours, asked a poll worker if it was okay to just vote for Obama, leave everything else black, and she said, oh, yes. That's when I went to scan. Another poll worker said, if you do that, your vote won't count. I wonder who was right. I didn't take the chance, and I filled everything out. So you're supposed to be able to vote for just whatever races you care about, but nevertheless...
I do know when we had the computer one where, I guess the last election, if you didn't choose something for each, choice, it said you're not done yet. And you couldn't submit.
Really?
Yep.
You couldn't submit?
See.
Well, that must have got you upset.
Yeah, well, you know.
After what I hear from Clarence about submission. Well, there's Tom Bocon. There's another NBC guy who can't speak.
It was an unbelievable report by Kerry.
It was, and it's, this is the greatest democracy in the world in the way we invented it. I know.
Isn't that amazing how they keep saying that? They keep stealing the presidential elections every 4 years, and these bozos keep coming on there about it's the greatest democracy in the world.
They got that, but the system is it's broken. There's no other way to describe it. It's uneven. It doesn't work. People don't have faith in it. The lines are too long.
This ballot.
Yeah, look at this ballot.
This is the Illinois ballot.
This is the Illinois ballot, and it's longer in California, by the way. You can't read most of the stuff. So I think part of we got a lot of things to do in the next 4 years, whoever wins. But part of it has to be getting the system back. What do you think?
Where is that line that they're showing? That isn't still in Margate, is it? Are you watching MSNBC? Of course you're not. They're showing a line that's from here to Yenamsveld. From here to the moon.
You've seen 2 elections where there were the potential of realignment. 64, LBJ. That didn't last very long. 1980, Ronald Reagan. That did last very long. So how do you define realignment?
Yeah, Christopher Hitchens and Gore Vidal will be on the BBC tonight. I get the BBC on my cable. Am I going to be watching election returns on the BBC? No. I'm going to be watching MSNBC, the Commie Pinko network.
Midwest, everything else has been red.
Look at that. Poor Jimmy Carter in 1980. He won Minnesota, Georgia, and West Virginia, and that was it. That was it. Jimmy Carter. Are you faxing me something?
Yeah, it's kind of long and ponderous, so I thought you might like it.
Oh. Well, you don't seem to understand. I've got 50 million emails here, man. I'm getting way behind.
And I say we start taking some calls.
I say you're full of crap. I say dummy up.
Sorry.
Shut your pie hole, Tick. To Neil Rogers. Oh, this is what they all keep sending me. I don't want this. Why the hell do I want this? Didn't I just say that Barbara sent this to me along with 500 other people? A letter from the blue states to the red states? Don't want it. Oh, God almighty. Peace out my ass. Well, I'm sorry. That's what was happening with Joe Bell, I understand. Ooh. When he had those problems. Oh. Uncle Neil, I listen to you every day from work. Love your show. Have a happy 66. Please don't turn into one of those old people that obsesses about their bowels and health problems. Love, Michelle in Key West. I don't obsess about my bowels. I just move them, honey. I move them. I'm as regular as an alarm clock twice a day. Isn't that what they say about a broken clock? Even a broken clock is still right twice a day?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's me. 2 a days. 2 in alls and 2 a days. Yeah, I'm going to be watching, let's see, Marist likely voter poll, the last poll, 52-43 Obama. C-SPAN, Reuters, Zogby, 54-43 Obama. And the Gallup poll had it down to like 55-44 Obama, with almost nobody undecided. So all that crap about, the undecideds are going to break for McCain. Yeah, they're not that insane, okay? CBS last poll, 51-42 Obama of likely voters. I mean, we're talking landslide. Even if they can fix it in one or two states, I still don't see any way McCain can win. Do you?
No. Hopefully no.
Unless they fix it in about 6 states, like Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Missouri. Washington Post ABC last poll, Obama 53, McCain 44. And Tom Brokaw still sitting there. He still can't speak. This is a network where they had... Now, Baba Wawa, she was on ABC, wasn't she?
Yes.
She was not on NBC. Because between Chris Matthews and Tom Brokaw, they can't speak. Goes with the territory at NBC. Even the peacock is blushing. All right, let me get back to my stuff and quit faxing me stuff that I don't want to read.
Shut your pie hole, Flea.
By the way, we're delighted to have Flea with us this week because Clarence was nervous that we wouldn't have 3 people on the show and I would go ballistic, which I wouldn't, but it would be, it would be another example of how we get shortchanged all the time. Because they hate this show. They despise it. They resent it. Am I right?
Yep.
Tick?
Absolutely.
Another female listener says, first let me say happy birthday, many, many more. I love listening to you. Unfortunately, I have to download audio from your archives because my employer has blocked all live audio streaming. I can't get a signal at work. Bastard. Thus, I have to listen the day after your show, but it's always worth listening to. You always make me laugh out loud. Out loud. I voted on Sunday, waited 5.5 hours to do so. At first, when I saw the line, I thought, this is lunacy. I'll vote on Tuesday. What actually kept me there were the 2 hateful bitches in line ahead of me who were spouting endless hatred and vitriol against Obama. I heard such classic lines as, Obama is a Muslim, Obama's a terrorist, and my new favorite, anybody who votes for Obama is an idiot. People are just voting for him because it's trendy. I couldn't believe these two didn't get their asses kicked, but I guess most people know better than pick a fight with mental defectives. First they were pissing me off, and then they realized they were like 2 tiny, annoying little dogs. Like tiny. A lot of bark, but no bite. A lot of yapping. Everybody stayed. I'd have to say the majority there were voting for Obama. At least the people I spoke to were. Anyhow, happy birthday. I hope we see Obama take it. It'll be nice to have somebody with a brain occupying the White House again. Thanks, sweetie. And thanks for your persistence. Oh, Bruce Williams, here's James, says he's on XM and the show is a waste of time. As it always was. One thing about Bruce Williams, what's doing? It's a Tuesday. What's doing? One of the worst excuses for a broadcaster I've ever heard, and he's made a lot of money just talking crap. People call in, they ask, first of all, do you care about somebody you don't know, some anonymous person's financial problems?
I don't know.
What about you, Tick?
I couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less. Even Gary Sarner, if he starves to death, I wouldn't throw him a piece of Spam. I wouldn't throw him a stale old piece of halava if he was starving to death, Gary Sarner. And you know what? Sounds like a plan. 1,739 votes. We can maybe make 1,800. And the poll's been on there for, what, a month?
About a month and a half.
Oh, here we go. Redskins lost, so Obama will be president. One of the great or stupid things about sports is how numbers can be worked and reworked into something that was supposed to have meaning. The fact that the fate of the presidency and the election of the next leader of the free world hinges on an NFL game goes right to the top of those silly numbers. Since the Redskins have arrived in Washington, how they perform in their final home game determines the presidential election. It's true. It's called the Redskins rule. It has an accuracy rating of either 94 or 100%, depending on how it's applied. Every time the Redskins win their final home game before presidential election, the candidate representing the incumbent party stays in office. Every time they lose, the incumbent party candidate loses as well. It's a predictor that has worked in 16 out of 17 presidential elections since the Redskins arrived in Washington. How do you like that?
There, it's over.
I didn't even know that game was on last night. They lost to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
They started out kicking Pittsburgh's butt, and then they just, disappeared.
Really?
Well, they probably threw the game since they knew the outcome would.
That's right. That's a good point. That was Tick, by the way, that said they threw the game. Here's one from Kurt. I guess your sales staff will have to go back to work. I suppose they've been sitting on their collective asses collecting nice commissions off the political advertising. That's a good point. Now it's all over. The last commercial break was at least 40% promos, where football always matters. Did we have promos in the last break?
I think he's probably listening online.
Oh. Online isn't where we make our money, okay, Sonny? Let me tell you something. Only to Orlando does football always matter. Does Orlando volunteer to do the team's effing laundry so we can sniff the jock straps? You bet. Tell the sales staff to get off their effing asses and sell something. Have a good birthday. Why is Kurt so worried about our sales department whether they sell something? Maybe he's got stock in measly. You think? Oh. Ooh. What a thought. 12:13 at 560 WQAM.
Wonderful WQAM. Whoopee.
Oh, thank God you're here. He just collapsed after dinner.
Oh, yeah. We're going to give him CPR. CPR. Clearing airway and begin chest compression. Chest compression. First do it's easy to know. We'll get you breathing. You're staying alive. Staying alive. Give him at the mouth the chest down a pound. He's staying alive. Staying alive. He's alive.
12:18 at 560 WQM. Happy Election Day 2008, baby. It's really great, and maybe your vote might count. So go and vote a few times. The Herald has had the same stale headline on here. Come prepared, Florida voters told. They've had it on there for 100 hours. They suck. Not like the Sun Sentinel sucks, though. That's a separate category of suction, the Scum Sentinel. There's Bill Richardson on there looking really grim.
Sue. College educations, educational opportunities, vocational schools. The second is immigration reform. Hispanics want to see the first year of an Obama administration a strong effort, a bipartisan effort to have immigration reform that contains more security at the border, more legal immigration coming in, but also a legalization plan, a path to citizenship for the 12 million.
If that was the case, then an argument could be made they should be supporting Senator McCain in bigger numbers because Senator McCain, a President McCain, and a Democratic Congress probably could get immigration reform passed faster than a President Obama and a Democratic Congress, no?
No, because what happened, Chuck, was that...
Oh, that Chuck Todd, man, he's all over the place. He's like a disease on MSNBC. Like that Eugene Robinson from the Washington Post. He's all over that thing. Like stink on Joyce. South Floridians are likely to turn out in droves today, says the Herald, and if the lines at the polls are tolerable, they have early voters to thank. Don't you want to thank the early voters? Oh, Chris, by the way, is going to go vote after the show, he claims.
Correct.
About 1 out of every 4 registered voters in Dade, Broward, and statewide cast their ballots during the 2-week early voting period that ended Sunday. That should help keep lines at a minimum despite an expected 80% turnout. I think that's going to help alleviate the line, said Marie Berteau, a Dade County spokeswoman. Don't forget, vote no on Amendment 2, and vote against Ileana Rosanna Dana. Who's that chick that's running against her? I can't think of her name. Well, I'll find it. She actually has an opponent this time. Wouldn't that be something to get rid of that simpering bitch, Ileana Rosanna Dana?
Well, thanks to Rafi Palmero and Jose Canseco and...
Oh, God. What a pathetic tragedy she is. How come she couldn't have croaked and what's-her-name couldn't have stayed alive? What was her name?
I don't remember.
Gene Wilder's wife.
Oh, Gilda Radner.
Yeah, Gilda Radner. Well, you guys are really slow. Really slow. But better late than never. Another help. Voters will be spread. Listen, I could sit here till midnight and I wouldn't have remembered. Sometimes you get a brain fart, you know? Oh, sorry, Joyce. A brain...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyone in line by 7 p.m. will be allowed to vote. At many polling sites, people are already lined up by 6 this morning, waiting in lawn chairs and on blankets. They're having a picnic. Bring your own ants. Aside from some sprinkles and early fog, the Election Day forecast is mostly sunny, with temperatures in the low 80s and a light breeze. One thing I don't like on my ice cream is sprinkles. It'll be the state's first big test of a new optical scan voting machines, which election officials promise will better serve voters than ATM-like touchscreens or butterfly ballots. Butterfly ballots, my ass, Teresa Lepore. Teresa Lepore gave us 8 years of George W. Bush and the war in Iraq and all those dead people and busted economy. Thank you, Teresa, so much. After all, it was Florida's paper ballots and hanging chads in 2000, it says, that left the country waiting 37 days for its next president-elect. The state's 27 electoral votes are once again considered critical. Yada, yada, yada. This is boring. South Florida voters will also decide today who will represent them in Congress, on the state's Supreme Court, and in municipal government. Broward voters will also choose a sheriff, and there are several state constitution and local charter amendments on the ballot. Voters need to take the responsibility of looking at their sample ballot, checking and seeing how they're going to vote, and looking at the amendments, said Evelyn Hale, a Broward election spokeswoman. Come prepared. About 2.6 million people in Florida voted early, about a quarter of the state's 11.2 million registered voters. And Chris wants clear sailing, man. He wants to zip in there and zip out this afternoon because he's got several important meals to eat today. Am I right?
I'd like to get in and out of there, yeah.
Like I said, because he's got many important meals to shove down his gullet today. Let's see. Jerome says, if the political yard signs are any indication of who would win the presidency in my neighborhood, this would be the election results. 12 for Obama, 6 for McCain, 5 for Sale. Happy birthday. Isn't that cute? Thanks, Jerome. Little chuckle there from Tick. Shut your pie hole, Tick.
Sorry.
And in your case, Fatso, shut that other hole.
Rectum.
Ass.
Say what?
A Topeka, Kansas church known for ugly protests at the funerals of soldiers nationwide has vowed to picket the opening night production of a Grosse Pointe South High School play later this month. But the school says the show will go on. The controversial play, The Laramie Project, is an account of the torture and beating death of gay college student Matthew Shepard in Laramie, Wyoming in 1998. Grosse Pointe South principal D. Allen Diver said yesterday the students will get a real-life lesson in the need for tolerance. If a hate group shows up, it would concern me a lot, but no, I would not cancel the play, Diver said. Nothing he received, just one parent complaint about the play, which was selected by committee, that included teachers and parents. This would be exactly what they want. Notice I'm reading too fast and I'm stumbling and bumbling? That's because it's election day. A lot of pressure. Heavy, heavy pressure, baby. Can you smell it? I would use the protest as a teachable moment because it is, he said. The Westboro Baptist Church, a bunch of real Farbissen Goyim, has staged loud protests against the play nationwide, including in about 20 high schools. Church member Shirley Phelps Roper told the Detroit News yesterday. The play has one purpose: to teach rebellion to the sons and daughters of this generation against the standards of God. To call God a liar, Phelps Roper said, adding between 4 and 10 of the church's 71 members will travel to the school to protest the play. The church has conducted more than 35,000 protests in more than 600 cities in the past 18 years, she said, most notably for disrupting services with loud protests for funerals for soldiers who died in Iraq. They claim God allows soldiers to die in Iraq as punishment on the nation for tolerating homosexuality. It's all those homos done it. The church, which is not associated with any known Baptist conventions or associations, is classified as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. It makes us all more passionate about the work we're doing, said senior John Manganiello, 17, member of the 20-student cast who plays multiple roles. It'll heighten the message and show there are still people out there who feel so passionately that homosexuality is so wrong. By performing the show, we are teaching people that gay bashing is not okay. Dan Jensen, director of public safety for Grosse Pointe Farm, said plans are in the works to beef up security opening night on November 21. It's not the first time they've dealt with a sect. 4 protesters turned up at the funeral of a soldier at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial last winter, Jensen said. We're not going to tolerate any violent behavior, he'd be saying. As long as you play by the rules and don't act like a bunch of fools. Let's see. George says, you know the fix is in Ohio when it starts flipping Obama votes to Bush. George in Daytona Beach says.
Was that humor? Was that
don't you think it's a little bit suspicious when you vote on the machine and you punch Obama and it comes up and says McCain? That's what was happening in 2000. People were punching Gore and Bush kept flipping it.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
The sports leader.
Sports Queer Radio is what the Q's for in QAM.
I'm dying over here.
Back in the day when someone done us wrong, we didn't take their crap. In Pearl Harbor, when the Japs dropped their bombs, we bombed them back. And now the Saudis, they hit us hard. And on our cards, our little flags wave as that Saudi lovin' retard points the bombers the wrong way. And I'm embarrassed to be an American where they follow Bush like sheep. The United States of arrogance, led by Bush and his family, greed they got this country. Ambling towards the darkest days in our history. I don't want to be a Pax American in the USA. What's a few thousand innocent lives? Stop living in the past. If you want that SUV to drive, you're gonna need more gas. It's the greatest country in the world. They train us to believe. And anyone who says that obviously can't afford to leave. And I'm embarrassed to be an American where we patriotically wave a flag in one hand with our head in the sand and blindly follow the powers that be. Apathetic. Watching state-run news on a 65-inch screen. Scratcher fart, everything's okay in the USA.
12:33, it's Election Day. Everybody's out there voting and pushing and standing in line and crowding around and getting all worked up. Aren't they? Mm-hmm. Must be. It's lunch hour. Everybody's voting during lunch hour because our emails have stopped. Just to a halt. Just like Tick all of a sudden stuck his finger in the thing.
In what
you
thing?
Stick your finger in there?
No, I don't think so.
Wouldn't be the first time. That's what Jolly Joe Bell told me.
Well.
He said you like sticking your finger in there all the time.
Rectum.
And he says after 2 or 3 fingers, it kind of like makes way for your head, you know.
Wow.
Opens up a little headroom. Remember Max Headroom?
Yep.
John McCain and his aides are still banking on a come-from-behind victory today, but the Republicans' most famous political strategist and crook and thief has already called the race for Obama. Karl Rove, the man widely credited with stealing Bush's 2 successful White House bids, is predicting the Illinois senator will take the White House in an electoral college landslide, winning 338 votes to John McCain's 200. That would be the largest electoral college victory since '96, when Bill Clinton defeated Bob Dole in a rout 379 to 159. And an electoral map posted on Rove's website, the Republican mastermind predicts Obama victories in several key battleground states, including virtually all of the states where polls suggest he currently enjoys a slim advantage. In fact, Rove believes Missouri is the only crucial battleground state McCain will carry, while Obama scores victories in Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, and Iowa. Rove also thinks Obama will win traditionally Republican Virginia. Yeah, if they ever get the damn voting machines working. If they ever start counting the votes in Virginia. Let people vote. Let the people vote, you morons. Did you see the turnout that Obama had last night for his late-night rally in Northern Virginia?
No.
Staggering. A gazillion people. And McCain's last rally, they barely got 1,000 people for Insane McCain. Yep, no items in this view on the email, although I've got about 6,000 to still read. Tick may be right, though. We might have to take a couple of calls. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Eric said he had to restart the email server, so...
What?
Yeah, it's having some problems. So he's rebooting it, so it'll hopefully back up soon.
Oh, my God. Can we do anything on Election Day, no less? This is like the vote counting in Virginia. On NeilRogers.com, all of a sudden Eric is having technical issues with our damn Outlook Express.
Mm-hmm.
Outlook distress. I told you that Outlook distress. See, there's nothing going on in there now. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because all these people have been desperately trying to, reach out and touch us. They've been blocked. Eric's got his foot on a break again. So tell me again exactly what he said to you.
There was we're going to reboot the email server pretty soon. It's running very slowly. He will get errors when it's restarting. I just asked, how's the email reboot going?
And he said...
Has not answered just yet.
Come on, Eric, that's the last thing we need today on Election Day of all days. We don't need it any day. I knew there's something going on with this damn email thing. Sabotage. Now, how can that be? Why does he need to restart it? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I guess it gets screwed up sometimes.
Oingo Potchkied?
Exactly.
There's no items in this view. Nothing. And I think it's Eric behind it, too. Eric's probably voting for McCain up there in Orlando 20 or 30 times. Remember the job Eric did on the guys across the street? And you probably, that's before your time. When we had that survey about your favorite sports talk people, remember that?
No, I don't.
And Clarence said, "Oh, don't even dignify."
Oh, that respond. I remember, yeah.
Yeah. Clarence the wimp. Oh, they're potchking around next door again here. Do you hear that? They're drilling.
Mm-hmm. He says it's restarted, so hopefully it's okay.
They're drilling right next door here. I'm doing a high-paid radio show, and they're out to make as much noise as they possibly can. Crazy Canucks. Probably a bunch of illegal aliens. 1760 on Fat Chris's poll, by the way. Okay, the coast is clear. Neil at neilrogers.com. And sure enough, there's three came puking through immediately. Came puking right through there. Because Eric had his big fat foot on the big fat brake. Neil, if you noticed how much smoother the elections are going in Dade than Broward, it says, lines in Dade are much shorter. Everything seems so much better. I know you're a Broward guy, but the past 5 years, Broward's really gone down the toilet. In the past 5 years, Dade versus Broward, median age much lower in Dade than Broward. Median income has surged in Dade, now higher than Broward. Crime has dropped significantly in Dade. Crime rates in Broward now much higher than Dade. Newspaper, the Scum Sentinel now sucks, while the Herald has improved slightly. I can't argue with any of those points. And you live in Dade County because I ain't gonna. I don't wanna. Here's one that says, Neil, there must be a glitch with your browser because the headline at the Herald says, polls busy but few glitches reported. Have you upgraded to the latest Firefox 3.0 yet? Yeah, much to my dismay, I have. Also, now that Obama is president, will you be moving back to America? No. What do I care about that? Like I'm going to change my life here? Of course I want him to win, but what's that got to do with where I'm going to live? Will I be moving back to America? I live in Plantation, Florida, sir. That's my legal address. And don't you mess with it. Marty from Boynton says, just voted. Glad I didn't wait on those long early voting lines. Just walked in and out in 10 minutes. I don't think everybody is as lucky, according to what I'm seeing on TV. Plenty of long lines around the country. Dixville Notch, yeah, I know. No, it says voted 15-0 for Obama. No, 15-6. Unheard of, we're talking landslide. Yeah, Dixville Notch means landslide. Those two little towns in New Hampshire, he won them collectively 32-16, and 2 for Ron Paul. Send me some more emails with some more information that I passed along at the beginning of the show. Like Abe Lincoln is still dead. Something important like that. And then, of course, the blue states letter to the red states. Don't forget that one. Got to get a few more of those.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
You can kiss my rear end.
The following is a paid political message.
Joe the plumber says he's got a plan to fix your leaky drain pipe. But what he doesn't tell you is that your trap primer needs a new threaded coupling to a 90-degree socketed radius. He also claims a combo tee with a 1/8 bend would reduce the likelihood of clogs, when everyone knows a sanitary tee would better minimize the possibility of siphon action in the trap arm. When Joe the plumber bends over to loosen your flange bolts, the crack in his agenda is plain to see. Rectum, Joe the plumber. Wrong for your PVC supply fitting. Wrong for America.
Right. Hey, Joe Mama, 1244 at 560 WQA, and we got the Big O
rock solid
coming up at 2 o'clock with some election returns. Pretty amusing, isn't it? You know, I got to tell you this. When I was working at IOD, the Paxson IOD, after Cox sold it to Paxson, and we made the deal to come over here to QAM. And I really never listened to it because I'm not interested in sports talk. To me, it's just ponderous, just rehashing the same swill over and over again. And so, I'm coming on the station, so I figured I better start listening. And I started listening to their, and I don't know if they do it anymore. At the top of the hour, I guess we don't do it no more. But they used to have, breaking news. It was sports news.
We do the updates.
Is that what that was? The updates? Mm-hmm. News updates. But the news updates had nothing to do with the news, even if, the world was coming to an end. Dolphins are going to win again this week, and yada, 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 and how about them Canes? And I thought to myself, this is a radio station that, and then, of course, on 9/11, Geldy insisted on talking sports, even though they were, knocking down the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and Geldy is...
What are we going to say about that? What can we say? We got to talk about sports.
Now, most people probably think I'm exaggerating, I'm embellishing it. It's a true story. Until finally somebody convinced Greg Reed, I think it was Joe Costello, that we ought to stop playing the spots and that they ought to put me on early. And I opened up the pot on ABC on Channel 10, and we played, what was going on. I mean, it's one thing to be a jock sniffer. It's another thing to be like sick.
Yeah, there's certain things in the world that you kind of want to pay attention to.
Super C ball games, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, Jerk Street's doing a ball game. Nothing's more important than that.
By the way, I just emailed you a story about voting stuff in Deerfield Beach.
About doing what?
I just emailed you a story about voting problems in Deerfield Beach this morning.
Let's see. You emailed it to where?
To your Neil@neilrogers.com.
Well, I sure as hell don't got it.
Should be there soon.
I don't got it. And you know what I'm thinking? During that break, I'm thinking to myself, well, it's election day, and I'm just one of those people who's, like, I watched just tons during the primaries. I just watch all the stuff. Here's a link, by the way. That's not from you. That's from John. Somebody a link. Attempted sabotage foiled in Florida.
That's it, and I just sent you the article.
Oh. Am I supposed to read it? Attempted sabotage foiled in Florida. It's on TMZ from Deerfield Beach. Okay, I'll print it out. Because you know me, I don't like reading off the damn thing. Off the monitor. So you just forwarded that? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I forwarded it from their website, so I sent you the article.
Uncle Neil just came back from voting in West Hialeah. Less than 5 people out of me. One more vote for Obama. Says Mauro. M-A-U-R-O. Mauro. I wonder if he's kin to Edward R. Morrow. By the way, that's a bad movie. Don't anybody go and see that.
Which one?
Good Night and Good Luck.
Oh.
And the fact that Olbermann stole that from Ed Morrow, I don't know, it just bugs me. I like Olbermann a lot, but he does some things. Oh, they're drilling again. They're going to come right through the wall here. I'm positive of it. You hear that?
Yep.
Jesus, Kate, Christ, are you people crazy or what? Why couldn't you do it after 2 o'clock? If it isn't one thing here, it's another. If they're not doing the phony fire alarm, they're doing something else. It's called How Can We Annoy You? Have a nice day. Eh? Later this week, says an emailer, as part of your birthday and election day celebration. Oh, anyway, before I get to that. So during the break, I was thinking about food, because I'm going to be, I'm going to have to go out and get a whole stash of stuff. Because I'm going to be glued watching this stuff all day long. By the way, tell me what you think about, speaking of cars, the Mercedes C300.
It's a nice car.
You like it?
Yeah,
four-wheel drive, good for the wintertime, too.
You should check out the Audis. They got some good Audis. The A8.
Yeah, they got that Audi A. What is it? The one that's 141 grand.
Oh yeah, that's
a little bit more than I planned on spending. Okay.
That's a little pricey.
Yeah, that's a beautiful car though. But if you're going to spend that kind of money, why not buy the new Vet, the one that's like 100 grand? Which I hear is ugly as sin. That's the rumor I'm hearing. So what do you think of the C300? Good car?
Oh, yeah, it's a great car.
Thank God, because I bought one last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's no Solstice, but...
No Solstice?
Solstice.
Get it right.
Come on. Car is.
I'm not going to try to overtalk that drilling. I'm going to go next door. I'm going to go into that apartment. I'm going to, kick ass. Anyway, here's this email. Later this week, as part of your birthday and election day celebration, are you going to put to death all those Bush bits by playing them one last time? Are you going to wait till he officially moves out Inauguration Day? Can't wait till we no longer need to hear President Dumbschmidt at the end of every show as a reminder of our 8-year journey into darkness. That's why I play it. I don't want anybody to forget. So long, Bush, and good riddance. It says, amen to that. Oh. Yeah. 8 years of hell. And there are people who are still deciding, well, I don't know. That McCain seems like a nice old man. And that Sarah, she's such a wonderful bitch. We did do the break at 40, right?
Yep.
Because I didn't cross it off on my log. Well, I get really... Well, I do one of two things once in a while.
What's that?
When I'm under tremendous duress, like on Election Day, I either get ahead of myself and I cross out the break ahead, which we haven't done yet, or I forget to cross out the previous one and I think oh, gee, did I skate on by the break?
You need to just settle down.
Dummy up.
Tick. How do you like this Tick, man? He comes in there. The one thing about Flea, he feels like, even though he's just the promotions director, probably overpaid dramatically.
Oh, crazy overpaid.
Yeah, well, obviously, since we don't do any promotion. I mean, I could understand if we really went out there and promoted and we were doing, getting involved with the public and doing stuff. Like that appearance at Gulfstream that day. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
No? Did they get more?
I'm sorry, I thought it was great.
Did they get more people at the sports appearances and stuff?
No.
What are you laughing about?
I mean, if by more you mean 5 or 6 people.
Oh. Anyway, here's that story. Check this out. It says Deerfield Beach, an hour south of Palm Beach. Nearly 400 people were firmly planted in line. 6:15 this morning, waiting for the polls to open at 7 a.m. There's one voting machine to accommodate all of them. The area is almost entirely African-American. Many of these people have never voted before. One woman was 101 years old. She was wheeled into the polling place. On her way out, she said that before she died, she wanted to vote for a black man. And it's got a picture of the Performing Arts Center, I guess, which is where they had the voting. And all the people are showing there, well, except for one lady. Everybody else is dark. Election monitors noticed a man in line who appeared to be a voter. It turns out he was a saboteur telling people the Democrats were supposed to vote at a different location. Some of the voters said they were robocalled last night. The message, Democrats weren't supposed to vote until Wednesday. Right. Update. Election officials just delivered 7 more voting machines. Caught them with their machines down there in Deerfield Beach. You bastards. You fakers. You phonies. You racist bastards in Deerfield Beach. Coxachois. I hope that Gary Sarner infects your community and moves into Deerfield. Then you'll get what you deserve. By the way, are we going to get to 1,800 votes for Fat Chris's poll?
Of course we are.
I'm going to get some of that Nestle's, what is it? Heavenly Hash.
Oh.
Heavenly Hash, half gallon.
Wow.
And I'm going to make some burgers and some weenies. I'm going to have on my Flavor Wave. On the Flavor Wave oven, I'm going to have like a cookout right in my kitchen. And sit back and watch TV all day and just get fatter and fatter and get my blood sugar way zooming up there until it just goes nuts like that. David Miramar says, just before going to vote, you put a reporter from TV saying there was a 2-hour wait in Miramar. I voted District W16. I walked right up, waited, no vote at all. No wait. Walked right up and voted, no wait at all. I hope that some voters don't get the wrong idea and decide not to vote due to long lines. Thanks, David Miramar. Well, I was Kerry Sanders with propaganda. Those are probably all MSNBC people. How do you like that? Well, that's what we need. We need reports from the public out there. Neil at neilrogers.com. We need to know who's being naughty and nice and what the hell's going on. You got till 7 o'clock tonight to vote. If you're in line by 7, you still can vote. And, of course, in the Panhandle, because they're on Central Time. The Florida polls officially don't close till 8 in all of Florida. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's 8 o'clock in the Panhandle, it's 7 o'clock in Otis. Ralph says, I heard you say the emails have stopped, so I decided to send you one. Thanks, Ralph. They stopped because Eric is diddling with it again. Oh, we got to restart the server, and we go, oh, my God. I don't get it. And George is always poo-pooing on, Hotmail and Yahoo Mail. He's always poo-pooing that crap. And giving me a song and dance about Outlook Express, how wonderful it is. Does Eric have to restart Hotmail to get my Hotmail going again? You bet your sweet ass he don't. Right?
Correct.
So what's the problem with Hotmail? That it's not so hot?
It's not very,
What?
A lot of stuff gets through. Like spam stuff and everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank God I'm not getting all that 80 billion spams on Outlook every day, which I am. The Mideast Daily News, and you just been awarded $80 trillion in the Lithuania lottery. Oh, my God, the stuff that comes through there I wouldn't wish on Joe Bell. Anyway, I'm listening to you over the Internet in Atlanta. I used to listen to you when I lived in Coral Springs, but I took your advice and left. Happy birthday, Ralph. Thank you, Ralph. Good choice, good decision. Get out of that place before it's too late. Look what happened to poor George. He's like a prisoner. At least he's got that joint in North Carolina he can get away to once in a while, without the wife and the dog and the kid and the girlfriend and the STD. Here's one from Maryland. Hey, happy birthday. I live in California and Los Angeles. A little rainy, but us dark folks are voting early and often for Obama. We'll win a landslide. He will win in a landslide in California and New York. And in the election, all depending on how much more of the shenanigans goes on. Aren't you a little bit nervous about what we're hearing? Deerfield Beach, how do you like that? The guy that was telling people that they had to vote at another location, they should take him and just shoot him right on the spot and say, this is what we do to people that F with the election. Right?
Can't they charge him with voter fraud?
They can charge him with being a professional a-hole, just like, although not as bad as, Gary Sarner.
The biggest names.
The best talent.
This is Neil Rogers.
The 1 to 2
Amen.
Drink a tree.
Oh, woo. Let's see. Here's one from David. Happy birthday, Neil God. It'll be a great birthday present to have a new president, maybe a new outlook to our and our kids' future. Very happy birthday. And the Mercedes is a great car. Did you trade the vet? No, I did not. David's writing a book, evidently. No, I did not. Let's see. 2 out of 2 voting stations empty. Over 300 people in line. I waited 4 hours to vote. Rick is where? The first time I read this, it said where he was, and now I don't know where the hell he was. How the hell did that happen? How did this change?
Maybe you
know
cut
what
it
I mean?
off.
Huh?
Maybe you cut it off.
What are you talking about? Maybe I cut it off. The Moyle cut it off, not me. 1784 on your poll. You'll make 1800. No sweat. Just relax.
Okay.
Like Tick there says, just sit back and, Hear the sirens, though, coming? You hear it?
They're always coming for you.
Oh, I see. Here it is. This is, I don't get it. Miramar West, Coconut Palm Elementary, a complete mess, 4-hour wait time, 1 voting registration ID machine working 14 out of 15 something. And then it just ends. So there are places where it's not a piece of cake, okay? Oh, cake sounds good.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, Red Lobster, they got a dessert that is so, I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. What the hell is it called? Something, chocolate something. Chocolate thunder from down under. No, that's Outback. The chocolate wave. See, you're laughing and all of a sudden, bing, it just came to me, okay? Just like that. Laughing at a senile old man like me. Chocolate wave, it is awesome. It's a big slice of like chocolate fudge cake with hot fudge around the edges and a scoop of vanilla ice cream, which ordinarily I don't like vanilla ice cream, but it's got like hot fudge drizzled all over it, you know?
Nice.
And you put it together with that chocolate wave. Oh, my God. And then after you eat it, you wave bye-bye and you croak. And here's one from another goofball. Who the hell talked you into buying that Nazi car? Oh, excuse me. Terrible gas mileage, uncomfortable seat design, no cushioning, wild wind noise, the worst if you go about 50 miles an hour. Well, excuse me, okay? I guess I'll cancel the order. I haven't picked it up yet. Maybe I'll just cancel the order. How's that? I like it.
I think it's a fine car.
It's a sensational car. And everything that he says in there is BS. Gets decent mileage. Oh, all these negative people.
Meh, Nazi car.
I like Germany myself. I love Berlin.
And hey, the Germans know how to make a vehicle.
That's correct. And I love Cologne. Cologne and Berlin are two of the greatest cities in the world. If you've ever been to Cologne, Germany, boy, then you know what life is all about. Here's a guy who says, I spent 15 minutes to vote in the heart of Boca with all the Alta Cockers. Only 15 minutes. Okay, all you old Alta Cockers in Boca, vote for the Schwarzer now. Get it right. Get it right. Or we're going to send you for the weekend to Gary Sarner's house. Then you'll know what Soros is. When you got to be in close proximity to do it. Kathleen says, my third Obama sign was stolen yesterday morning in Miami Lakes. My realtor sign was knocked over. I went yesterday for another 2 signs and picked up a quantity of nasty-smelling stuff at the grocery store to put around them. Catfish, herring, pickle, sardines, anything I could think of to ruin the shoes of the thieves. I ended up getting an off-duty cop to put signs above my garage door. This morning, only one was stolen. The other was only half down, so I guess I'm getting the hang of things in this mean-spirited right-wing little town.
Mm-hmm.
Miami Lakes.
I used to have a sticker on the back of my truck that said, Cheney is a dick, and somebody took it off.
Are we going to have to dump him, Fat Chris?
Maybe.
But that's his name, Dick Cheney.
Yeah. It all depends on how you say it. Now, we just got our license yesterday, or at least the news just leaked out. And right off the bat, you're coming on there, and Jolly Joe's going to turn on you like a cornered rat, like a big, fat rat.
No, he's got pictures.
Evidently. Jolly Joe and Fat Chris. And Fat Chris and Gary Sarner.
No.
Where are these long lines they keep showing on MSNBC?
One of the reasons, Andrew, they think things are going so well is that because there was early voting and about 30 million people voted early. In Colorado, which you pointed out, the turnout so far among a few precincts, they're reporting
what did she say?
Actually has been a little light so far, but they're reminding us the day is very early.
Okay, Raheem Ellis, thanks so much for watching over all of these.
Oh, there's that Andrea Mitchell. Just remember, she's married to Alan Greenspan. Oh, my God. Is there anybody in the world who would touch that old man?
Apparently she will.
Yeah, evidently. She'll touch it for $1. Let's see. Here's one who said just voted. I voted here in New Jersey, where Obama's expected to win a popular vote by 15 to 20%. I'm a lifelong Democrat, so I would have voted for whoever made it through the primary process, but it sure felt historic casting a vote for the USA's first non-white presidential candidate on a major party ticket. Go Obama, he says. 8 years from now, maybe a woman will make it through the Democratic primary process to break through that milestone. Yeah, maybe a woman, but certainly not Swillery. Haven't been able to listen to your show this morning. Any issues being raised with the election or voting process today, as those Palm Beach callers called your show 8 years ago about the infamous butterfly ballot? No, not really. Just Virginia. But I do remember that 8 years ago. There was a lady called in, and she started, we had a few calls from Palm Beach. I think I just voted for Pat Buchanan by mistake. Oh. She tried to vote for Al Gore, but she had that butterfly ballot. And she wasn't even old or probably even Jewish. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't ask if she was circumspect. The old Jews who voted for Pat Buchanan in 2000 better redeem themselves now, or they're certainly going to burn in hell if they don't vote for Obama. Your mama. How's Chris doing on his poll here? 1790. You're only 10 away from the vaunted 1800 margin. A poll that might leave the poll on there forever. Have a happy birthday. You are still young, says John. Oh, yeah, I'm so young. And again, they send me the same thing about the Miramar thing. 2 out of 2 voting stations empty, over 300 people in line. Waited 4 hours to vote, says Rick. Well, it was well worth it. And they're drilling and drilling and drilling there next door like a bunch of lunatics. Probably a bunch of illegal Chinamen. You have any idea how many illegal aliens they have here? And especially if you come to customs and you have like a turban on and a beard and you look like a terrorist and you're carrying like a hand grenade. Oh, welcome to Canada. It's the truth. If you're like a law-abiding, just general schmuck like me, like that time coming back from Amsterdam, they put me through the ringer. My God. Remember I told that story?
Yep.
Well, what are you doing here? What are you doing?
Oh, John V. says, I'm not your friend. Good. I'm George's friend. And watch the sugar. And he's got a link. Well, you're not my friend, all right, because you're sending me a link.
Are they like drilling inside your apartment?
Just about.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, ordinarily I can put up with a lot of distractions. Don't bother me. I'm used to it. But Christ almighty, when it sounds like they're going to come flying right through the wall. There's one young Asian guy who works in maintenance here. If he came flying through the wall, I would enjoy it. I would just say, hey, here's Flea and the Fat Chris. But I'm sure it's not him. I don't think he does the drilling, you know. I don't think he's in the right union for that. Asian, Oriental guy. Now, George isn't here today, so he can't argue with me about that thing about Orientals. I know what an Oriental is when I see one, okay?
It's a rug.
Yeah, I wonder if Mo had an Oriental rug that he used to wear like on Chinese New Year. Rick says, voted in Cooper City 7 this morning. It took just over an hour. The longest wait was the line to insert the completed ballot in the tally machine. Looked like a paper shredder to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, the paper shredder. That's cute. My wife just left the same polling location, 15 minutes in and out. The old wrinkled dude and dizzy bitch are going down. Not on each other, I hope it says Rick. They're going down. Oh, what's her name? Andrea Mitchell is still on there. No wonder I don't watch MSNBC during the daytime. And then, of course, if I go back to CNN, it'll be either that horrible, awful Tony Harris or Kira Phillips, who makes him seem like the prince of the city. Joe in Pompano says, long-time listener, one-time caller, first-time emailer. First, happy birthday from another old fart. I catch up with you in March. Second, voted this morning in Pompano Beach in Precinct 23. No crowds, perfectly organized, done in 20 minutes. Most that was filling out the lengthy ballot done in 3 languages, making sure I had the right vote in the right place. Based on overheard comments, the vote had to be at least 75% Obama. Finally, knowing how well you do your research, you may have covered this, but just in case, an article appeared on page 29A of the Sunday Herald. Saudi Arabia. Sheep breeders hold first beauty pageant. Summary, a Saudi Arabian pageant where sheep rather than human beauties took the runway offered a chance for breeders and business, a rare outlet for entertainment. Article provides enough material to kill at least 30 minutes. Well, they like their sheep in Saudi Arabia. Wouldn't you think? And, of course, in Saudi Arabia, they've been screwing the world for a long time with the help of their good friends Bandar Bush. Oh, no, if their guy is Bandar Bush, then what's he? Just an a-hole? 1792, what a great year that was. How about 1492?
Wasn't around.
I'm talking about your weight. Bill in Melbourne says, love the show, been listening for 20 years, you still make me laugh. I'm glad I can get your signal okay up here in Melbourne after having to get out of South Florida. However, as a lifelong Democrat, I've got to say Obama's going to make a bad president. Make as bad president as George W. Bush has been, not that his opponent's any better. You'll have a good time making fun of his misadventures in the next 4 years. Now, why would Bill in Melbourne say that? Unless he's a clown. You got any idea?
Nope.
Comparing Barack Obama to George W. Bush? Now, where was he again? In Melbourne? Maybe he's a hooded freak. Maybe he's in the wrong hood. 12 minutes after 1 at 560 WQM.
Why don't you go back to Canada, you Jew bastard?
Now it is time for the Jimmy Syphilis Show on WIOD. Dig higher.
How do you do? And good morning, all 19% of you. Jimmy Syphilis with you once again on the right-wing bandwagon of white corporate America. I'm well off and white. Aren't you? We'll talk more about the benefits of trickle-down voodoo economics in just a moment. But first, won't you join me as I trickle some of my delicious wine in my golden chalice? Yes, every now and then I enjoy an occasional bibble. You know, my children, those of you who plan to be a professional athlete will be well advised to register Republican, especially if you're white. As Grover Norquist once said, we must shrink government and drown it in the bathtub and let the free market govern itself. We did just that, and look how well everything worked out. Flag-waving jocks represent all that America is about. Jews and blacks have no place in a pasty white man's world. I'll be right-wing back after these words from Adolph's all-night lampshade store.
117 at 560. Boy, that Jimmy Syphilis, he's going to have a long puss tomorrow morning, isn't he?
Hopefully.
Yep. What's old Jimmy going to say? Oh, jeez. Oh. You're an idiot, Jimmy. But then again, everybody knows that. And your work on the Dolphin games is beyond description. Snapperhead says, just a little update on my voting experience. My precinct is in South Miami High School. I arrived at 12:10. There were no lines. I was out of there by 12:30. To all you people who spend hours in line for early voting, you must be nuts. The only thing is that I should go back to work, but you know I'm going to roll a fat one and take George for a ride on my motorcycle, says Snapperhead. John sends me this info from Huntington, West Virginia, WSAZ. Are we concerned about the voting in West Virginia? First of all, that's McCain country. There's no chance Obama's going to win West Virginia. None. Nor does he need it. When you head to the polls, it says, to vote, you better check your wardrobe and choose wisely. Wearing the wrong clothes could cost you your vote. Surprised? Listen up. The law restricts one's right to allow you the privilege of another. You can't wear a shirt, hat, or button supporting a candidate, issue, or even an idea when you go to vote. It's called electioneering, and it's the equivalent of carrying a yard sign into the poll. Poll workers are trained to ask them to cover or remove the object. If they don't have anything to cover up with, they'll be asked to leave and go change, said Karen Cole, Cable County Clerk. It's the subject of an email circulating the internet, blowing up email boxes across the country. The email warns Obama supporters not to wear shirts, pins, or hats, informing them it's against the law and you can be turned away. The law isn't new, but it's not well known either. And given the highly charged political season, parties on both sides are reminding their voters to dot their I's and cross their T's. And pat their ass. David Tyson is a local Republican Party official. He's also an attorney who strongly disagrees with the law. This is in West Virginia.